Welcome, everybody, to episode number 41 of the Dragon's Den podcast. Here we are live on X, on YouTube, on Rumble, and my Facebook as well. I'm joined tonight by Big Oos Brandon in the top right, his wife Miranda, who apparently thinks Olive Garden is overrated, and of course my friend Daniel Horton, who's been my friend for, I don't know, what now, a good 20 plus years at this point.
At least 25.
Y'all are old.
And he's filling in for my good friend Matt as well. We call him Fred, but he's more of an acquaintance, Matt. But anyway, we're just kidding. We love Matt here on the channel for sure. We always love to give him a hard time. And we'll be joined tonight by Aaron as well at some point, probably before the night's out. So how's everybody doing tonight? Had a long week, a lot of overtime in our case. So fun.
Yeah, it's been a fun week for me at work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like there's a story there.
There is. Probably not internet friendly, but I'll tell y'all someday.
Okay. You'll have to pay for the extra membership here on the channel for that one, I guess. That we don't actually have yet. But anyway,
Subscriber only.
So, yeah. Is it like Dragon's Den After Dark worthy?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
You might be onto something there.
I know. I can't take credit for that. Aaron came up with the After Dark idea.
Those stories is insane, big dog.
And of course, I believe
I had to tell somebody today to stop calling me their friend. Like, stop doing that. Like, I don't want you giving people
Brandon, stop. You tried to tell me to stop being your wife in the car on the way home, just about. So I found a gray hair in this man's head today.
No, yeah, but what we doing out in the streets?
Yeah, I'm gonna call your ass out. You got a gray hair.
Come on, embrace the gray hair.
Join the club.
No, you just hey,
at least you have hair.
Listen, he is 41 years old, and this is his second one. He's an ass. They're serious when they mean they say don't crack.
I can't get that close.
Listen to me. It's not my fault that I grew out the hair and it's popping. Like, if you can't handle it, I don't know what to tell you. The afro is in, and I promise you, if you keep this up, next week this shit gonna be a Jerry curl. All right, think of bullshit. All right, I'll be walking around this bitch activating like a motherfucker, spraying my and play with me. Okay, and if you keep it up, I'm gonna get that Money Mike perm from Friday and walk around this bitch.
It has been a trip watching him walk around work with a pick in his hair this week, which is something.
Yeah, we were walking into the store and I turned around and said, Brandon, take the pick out. I can't do it.
The funniest response ever. I've been there for a long time, and it's either my hair's cut or it's under a hat. So nobody knew how much hair I had on my head. To be quite honest, I was surprised it was as much as it is. Because if I put a hat on without combing my hair, it fits just fine. You couldn't tell I have that much hair. The moment I decided to pick this shit out, Nate did not know. He turned around and it was the double take for me. He goes, I didn't know you had that much hair. I was like, neither did I.
Does that work on bald people at all? Maybe it'll help, like,
no.
grow some of this.
The only thing you're gonna pick with my pick is your thoughts. Like, other than that,
gotta have them first.
Exactly. I was gonna say you gotta, yeah. Anyway, moving on.
One of the guys at work, he decided to be funny. He took my pick and he took tape. He taped it to his head and he started walking around. And somebody comes up to me. I'm not kidding. First of all, this man is bald. He has a huge bald spot in his head also. And somebody comes around and goes, can you believe he got that to stick in his hair? I was like, with what? His hopes and dreams? Ain't shit there.
Even sometimes hopes and dreams are sparse. So, just depends. But
yeah, hair follicles on his head.
Yeah, pretty much. We got Mike in the chat, our friend Digger. I guess he don't mind me calling him that there. But he says, "What up, Horton? Good to see you."
You got to be real careful when you say it.
I know you got to pronounce that properly, otherwise it come out something.
Yeah, the first couple times. Well, hold up. What was that? Do I realize what?
He just said, Horton, did you realize that no one in any pro sport has won a Rookie of the Year award twice?
Oh my Lord, Horton! Did you hear about this?
This happened last week on the podcast. We were talking the sports section, talking about the NFL honors. And he said, did you know that no NFL players ever won Rookie of the Year twice? And I sat there and I go, you know what? I didn't really? Are you sure? And as soon as I asked, I said, oh, you son of a bitch. Because he got me. Because it's like, obviously no rookie can win it twice.
That's awesome.
I was like, gosh,
well
dang
played.
It. Yeah. And he texted me later. He goes, that bit worked out way better than I thought it was going to. I was like, yeah, I know. We tried to get Brandon with it. Brandon just goes, what? Well, of course not. but he paused. It's like, oh,
because
man.
The pause came simply because it was, who the fuck says that? Like, no shit. Like, it's one of those that like, yeah, like, what are we talking about? That's why
I'm proud of you, Mike, for that. That was good.
Yeah, anytime you get me, that's for sure. All my friends are like, good job.
So I wasn't in the room when it happened, Horton. I was in the kitchen. I got kids. I got to feed them a lot.
Hey,
the whole thing.
Preaching to the choir, buddy.
So I'm in the kitchen, and all I hear is my mother-in-law, because she's watching us in the other room, burst out laughing. And I'm like,
that would be why.
Yeah.
Oh, of course you would. He said, I swear I've watched that video 100 times.
It's a good moment. It really is, because he got you.
Yeah.
And
it's better than the moment, I guess. I would rather have that moment than the one where Matt accidentally froze and looked like he was, got bitten in the ass or something. Which is in the opening of the show, by the way. He was actually yawning. But it looks like his cat jumped up and bit him or something. It was hilarious.
Yeah, that shit was funny too.
He said no one in his department fell for it either. All right, I get it.
It says a lot about you, which is fucked up.
Hey, at least I got it as soon. Have you ever just responded to something and just as soon as it comes out of your mouth, you're like, should have said it.
Yes, you have kids.
Frequently.
Yes, Horton has children. We have kids. There are times our kids will literally say something, and the default response is either no or yeah, because you're not really listening. They're just talking, and you're like, yeah, whatever. And then they look at you like, are you sure about that? Because like,
Daddy, you just said we could have a dinosaur.
Yeah, and you're like, wait, what? No, play it back.
Is it time for a home, Dad? Anyway.
Hey, okay, one more embarrassing story about me, and then we can.
No, you're fine.
Move forward. 2 nights ago.
It's only a 4-hour show. It's good.
I went to get out of my chair. You saying a home thing is what brought this up. I went to get out of my chair. This is gonna sound so fucked up. I went to get out of my chair. Me using my muscles to stand out of my chair caused me to fart. Like, I did not push it out. Nothing. It fell out of my ass.
It happens.
Just.
Yeah. Welcome to the wonderful world of being 41.
Yeah. It's going to continue to get worse, probably. Yeah.
She looks at me and she goes, "Oh my!" And I went, "I didn't push that out." And I said, "Listen, I'm getting old. Okay,
you're losing control of your bowels."
Yeah. I told her, I said, "Listen, all I ask."
It only gets more shitty from here.
I said, "All I ask is you bring the kids by to see me on the weekends." It's just like, I said, "When you put me in the home, just don't forget me." That's all I'm saying.
Don't forget. Remember, you love me. Come visit once in a while.
Bring me some Jello.
Mike said, my default answer is to ask your mother. So that's usually a good one to go to.
They do anyway.
Yeah, they do anyway.
Yeah, because they know y'all are the bosses.
And Naya, my boys, my 2 youngest, they will walk past me to get to my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm like my youngest, he'll be like, he'll walk up and be like, "Mommy, can you open this?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm right here. You walk right past me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, it depends on the kid and depends on what the kid wants. If the kid wants something that's more in line with, that's out of my realm,
who will say yes
to their
to
mom?
Me?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Or if it's in my wheelhouse, they'll come to me. Most video game related shit comes to Brandon. Everything else, even if I'm sitting there, mommy. I don't know why, because I'm more apt to say yes than she is half the time.
No, because they'll want something to eat, and he'll be like, "Yeah, I'll get it in a minute." And then, like an hour later, it's like, "Mom, will you give me something?"
I'm guilty of that one.
It's
Dad
BPT,
forgot.
okay, or BDPT.
Or they ask me because I know I'll ask him, and he'll do it.
Yeah, it's always a lot of that. It's always, "Hey, Mom, can you ask Dad?" What? But I'm right here.
In Mike's case, he said the girls think Daddy is a softie. They find out most times that he is not. So, yeah.
See, Naya used to do that in the beginning, but that's because Naya was very clever in what she did, and she knew who to ask and how to ask. So she used to play that a lot until we really caught on to what she was doing. But Naya used to be real smooth at that shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I was finding out she can't lie very well.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh-oh. That doesn't stop from trying, though, does it?
Yeah. They're not as good as I am.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious, but they try. Jackson, though. Jackson, you gotta watch Jackson. Jackson is getting good. Like real good.
Like real good. He said.
And I want to be
his
mad at
eyes
him sometimes
when he said it.
Not lying, just real good at his sarcasm and the way he weaves it into a conversation. He gives you that false sense of like, oh, okay, I'm with you, just to cut you off. And it's
he's Brandon 2.0.
As a father, I look at him, I'm like, I couldn't be prouder. But when he does that shit to me, it's like, all right, fam, I'll beat your ass. Like,
he gets older, you might be like, I don't like it's not such an endearing quality no more.
You can't use your powers against me. I'm the one that gave you this. Like,
yeah. He's like, you're like, I might have taught you everything you know, but I haven't taught you everything I know.
Yeah,
that's one of those things. Yeah, that's always true. But anyway, happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there, by the way. If you are celebrating, you're probably not watching us right now. But at the same time, thank you very much for watching if you are indeed, for sure. But happy Valentine's to all the couples out there for certain. So you guys want to get into the... Huh?
I just repeated what you said.
Oh, okay, cool. You want to get into the topipics, get things rolling?
Yeah, let's get going.
All right, let's get into some of this pro wrestling. A little bit truncated this week. It's not quite as long, so hopefully we'll go a little quicker. All right, so I thought we would talk a little bit about the WWE and AEW cuts that they made this week in the world of pro wrestling, and I thought that would be interesting to at least go over those and then a little bit highlights in the news from the shows moving forward. That way, this segment doesn't last like an hour like it has the last few weeks. I'd rather kind of make it a little bit shorter than that. But WWE made some talent cuts this last week. Including the Authors of Pain and Paul Ellering, as well as the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, Giovanni Vinci, the former Imperium member, Isla Dawn, Sonya Deville, Blair Davenport, and Cedric Alexander. Cedric Alexander, who I'll show you here in just a second, will probably end up in AEW alongside the Hurt Syndicate because he is a former member of the Hurt Business, which was the same group in WWE. So thoughts on the WWE cuts, Brandon? Do you think it's vital that these wrestlers are no longer with the company, or do these cuts make a lot of sense to you?
These cuts made sense. I mean, think about who they're bringing in. They got Joe Hendry coming up. They got, well, we know of one right now, Ricky Starks.
Yeah, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yep. They got who else? Joe Hendry, Jordan Grace.
Is Jordan Grace getting called at WWE or just kind of TNA thing?
Who, Jordan?
Jordan Grace, yeah.
Yeah, Jordan Grace. No, her contract's up with TNA.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, quick question here.
Yeah.
When these wrestlers get cut, is it kind of like free agency where other places will pick them up? And
they can.
Yeah.
Sometimes
they're not going to be out of a job.
No, not necessarily. Especially since AEW is now a thing, and there's other like TNA and some independent New Japan Pro Wrestling, CMLL. There's a bunch of stuff around the world. But sometimes with WWE and AEW, especially, there'll be like a 90-day no compete type thing, so where you can't sign anywhere else. But I know Cedric Alexander, pictured here, has basically already come out and said in 90 days, so we'll see you then. So it sounds like he's pretty much headed to AEW. So a lot of these guys will probably get picked up right away, guys and gals. But there are times where sometimes they do, don't get picked up anywhere. But it's kind of
will they? And can they find their way back into the?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
One of the guys now that is going to be coming back. He was in WWE, left WWE, went to AEW, and now he's released from AEW, and he's more than likely going back to WWE. Hell, Cody Rhodes did it.
Yeah. A lot of times these guys will leave and go make a name for themselves elsewhere. It's kind of like in sports, like, you go to another team, do really well over there, then your contract's up, and sometimes the other team will decide to pick you up. It's exactly the same thing here.
Yeah,
Cody Rhodes came back and he made a name for himself, and now he's their world champion over there in WWE. So
it's the philosophy of like, if I'm not going to keep you on my roster if I'm not using you for anything. A lot of the times it's like people, they take it as like they didn't see anything in him or whatever. No, that's not the case. They just didn't have a spot for him. Whatever they're working on just doesn't involve them. Instead of keeping them there and forever, how long, just let them go.
Give them opportunities to go elsewhere.
Yeah, but I get the 90-day compete thing. I mean, there's some players, there's some people who don't have that in their contract, and there's some people who do have that in their contract. But it also depends on your your popularity. If I want and I don't know if the 90 days is because I can still use you within that 90 days. You know what I mean? Like for a one-off or whatever the case may be, so you can't go anywhere for 90 days just in case. But a lot of them, they'll wait it out. And some of them too, they may have a no compete clause in the sense of like major shows, stuff like that, but they probably still do indie dates and shit like that. It just depends on how it's worked out in their contracts. But
having a lot of people, they're not on an AEW slot, they're
could be working a minor show somewhere else or house show.
Yeah, and that's the National Guard armory slinging.
Right, right. Well, I mean, and that's the thing with these big time pro wrestling shows too. There's only so much television time per week, and you can only put so many people on the show at one time. So at some point, there's just no room, unfortunately, unless an injury occurs or something like that. Mike said, just my opinion, but with 2 tag titles, should they really be cutting tag teams in WWE? That's actually not a bad. It's
not a bad idea, but at the same time, yes, you're right with 2 tag titles, but they have a large tag team now, or large tag team division now that they need to figure out and do it. And like,
I would say SmackDown. I would say SmackDown's got the better tag team division. Raw right now, where AOP is kind of lacking. But yes, if they build those teams with the New Day, hopefully will continue to be built up and stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's the direction they're kind of going in now to get this tag team thing going. Like,
I mean, and like you pointed out, Brandon, they're not really doing a whole lot for Karrion Kross right now with
the
final.
They're really not.
So it makes sense to let these guys go. I mean, as sad as that may be, Paul.
I know, because they're good guys. They're good characters but they could find jobs elsewhere and be bigger stars than they are now. So
they're not going to be hurting.
No. Well, it depends, because again, WWE might have seen something in them, but somebody else won't. It's wrestling. It depends.
Yeah. Just kind of the nature of the business a little bit too. Luckily, there are options nowadays. Unlike back in the day when WWE pretty much had a monopoly on the whole situation for a long time.
Right.
It's not like that no more.
Like these two could go to Japan and crush it because they're big guys. They're huge. Yeah. And they would be that attraction alone. Wrestling in Japan is different than it is here.
Oh yeah.
So like they can make more money elsewhere. And on the independents. Everybody knows who AOP is. So
exactly. As for AEW, we've got a few cuts this week as well. Ricky Starks, apparently his contract finally expired. That's the way I understand it anyway. And we'll talk about here in just a little bit, as he did make an appearance on NXT this week. Miro has also parted ways with the company. Apparently, Miro's contract didn't expire, but apparently they finally came to a mutual parting of ways here. So apparently they finally came to an agreement to let Miro go. And he'll probably be heading back to WWE as Rusev, I assume.
Or I would love to see it as him as the Redeemer. I think that was some of his best.
Yeah, work. I mean, I think that as long as the AEW don't own the copyrights to it, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, that's also true.
But that's always a thing. But yeah, Rusev the Redeemer, could make some sense.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we've talked about Malachi Black here in recent weeks, too. His contract officially expires, so apparently he is free and clear to also return to WWE. So all 3 of these talents most likely are heading back to work with Triple H there, the creative force over there at the World Wrestling Entertainment.
I also heard Ray.
Yeah.
Ray got his.
Actually, I haven't heard. Last I checked, Ray Phoenix from AEW is still under contract, and they've not let him go
I thought
yet. That's the last I checked. I could be wrong on that, but maybe Mike knows something in the chat. But as far as I know, he's still under AEW contract. But yes, Mike said, could this be the return of Rusev Day? That could actually be true, and that was definitely over before he left WWE, and that chant was definitely very popular amongst the audience. So if that's the case, obviously no CJ Perry most likely now, since him and her are no longer together from the way it looks. But yeah, if Brandon finds out more about Ray Phoenix, we'll talk about that too. But yeah, but I don't know. What are you thinking about these AEW cuts?
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I'm glad everybody got what they wanted. Like
maybe without maybe Ray, but yeah.
Yeah, without Ray. I mean, but it looks like that's where it's heading for Ray.
Eventually, yeah. Ray will join Penta in WWE.
So, because I got a report from like 12 hours ago that says that Ray Phoenix, him and they came to an agreement.
Okay, well, if that's the case, okay. I know a lot of fans have been asking for that. It's kind of the same thing with Miro. It's like if they don't want to be there, I understand just letting them go. But of course, back in the day when Vince did that, it was the same. People would say the same thing to him, but Vince wouldn't buckle on it. He'd be like, "No, you signed a contract, you honor it." So I get both sides of the argument, especially when you're in a competition with these companies and stuff. You don't want to just give your competition some good talent. So I understand that too. But at the same time,
if you're not
I feel
doing
for the
anything
wrestlers
with that good talent, that's the one thing that bothers me in this whole thing with either company. Well, back in the day with Vince for sure. If you're not doing anything, you're wasting their time. You're just keeping them there because you're going to be petty and spiteful, but they're not. They're making money, sure, because you're still paying them, probably at a reduced fucking rate. But at the same time, I don't see why you just don't use them and let them go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm perfectly fine
with that. And if you're just not going to do anything with them, why the hell are you going to continue to pay for something you're not using?
Yeah, just keep them out of the other company's hands. Basically, that's the only reason. Unfortunately, I mean, at least those wrestlers are still getting paid. So if you're not being used, at least they're still making money. So that's always.
But if you're still trying to keep them away from the competition and they ride out the rest of their contract, I guess they already have a 90-day no compete clause. So what? Just let them serve their 90 days at home. You're not paying them. Why do you care?
Yeah, that's a good point. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see where these talents go, but I fully expect, especially all the AEW cuts to end up in WWE at some point.
Not all. Some.
Not. I think they all will. To be honest, the four.
Well, the three. Yeah, the three. I mean, the four. If you count Ray, for sure.
Not every AEW cut ever. No, but
no.
In this case, for sure.
I also think not every WWE cut is going to AEW. It's just not realistic.
No, like I said, I think Cedric Alexander will. Maybe Sonya Deville.
Yeah,
could.
I think Cedric has the best shot.
Just because his former team is there. Yeah, it makes sense. So, yeah. Matt's a little off topic, but he's in the chat. He said, I'm last on the friends list under crap. I don't know what it was this week or today at work. He was going around. He asked me, he's like, where am I on the friends list to me? And I said, there's Brandon, Aaron, and Nate, and all these guys here I work with, and then about 10 feet of crap, and then there's Matt.
Did you hear what he said?
What?
Did you hear what he said? I'm number one, Miranda. That's crazy. Stop calling me your fucking friend.
Oh, I'm sorry. Care. Well, even if you're not my friend, you still rank higher here above the crap. So, you know what I'm saying? So take it for what it's worth. But yeah. And no, Matt's not fired from his job. Matt's fired from this show because obviously Dan apparently replaced him.
Yeah, Dan's way more cooler than that. I don't get
it. We'll hopefully see him back probably next week and stuff. But Mike said, best WWE news I saw, which we're going to get into in just a little bit, was Demolition signed a Legends deal, which could open the chance of them finally getting into the Hall of Fame. I agree with that.
That'd be dope.
And we're going to talk about that just here in just a second. So stop getting ahead of me, buddy. But anyway, I understand it. That happens a lot. It seems like, I get all this stuff, and every now and then, somebody will bring up something yeah, well, hold on, we're getting to it. I get it. But
why not just have Mikey on the show?
Well, he's got the kids and stuff. I think it's kind of hard for him to do sometimes. But Aaron makes it work. Aaron makes it work with just the audio. But yeah, there's that. So let's see here. I got to pull up the other wrestling stuff. Here we go. All right. So as for WWE this week, the news and highlights here. This week, Jey Uso, it's been officially announced that he will be challenging Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Jey Uso made the decision on Raw this week after Gunther jumped him and essentially told him not to do it. So, of course, what's that going to make you want to do? It's going to make you want to do it. So our first official match for WrestleMania 41 is set. And I ain't going to lie, these graphics are dope.
Yeah,
with the playing cards and stuff in Vegas. I think it makes a lot of sense. So, thoughts on...
I do what I want.
Yeah, I know we've talked. Yeah, I know we've talked about Jey and Gunther, but yeah, what are your
Jey
thoughts?
Uso is really good at is taking a beating. I know that sounds fucked up, but Jey Uso is the guy. And so his comeback to beat Gunther for that title is going to be because he's going to get wore out.
He's going to get beat from pillar to post. Yeah,
my man. First of all, that bump he took off of the announce table straight to the floor. Champion. I wouldn't have done it. I promise you. That's crazy. Just to get his legs swept out from underneath.
Oh yeah, and the camera angle was great on it too because you're watching it from the crowd's perspective. You can't see from his waist down, and all of a sudden Jey just disappears under the camera because you don't see him get tripped. But it was great. So I thought that was a really clever way of doing it. So. Yeah, this will be a fun match, and like we've been saying all along, Jey Uso is going to get crowned the World Heavyweight Champion this year. It's time to do so.
Arena is going to blow the F up. He wins that title and his music hits at the end, they're gonna be eating out their seats out there. But
yeah, There won't be no yeet. It'll be all yeet that night. You know what I mean? So yeah,
that is still the funniest shit ever.
Jimmy and Mike said if Jay does not win at Mania, it will be a complete waste of.
Oh yeah,
yeah, exactly.
That's why I think they're going to give it to him.
Yeah, they're not going to give him the Royal Rumble win. Set this up the rematch where Gunther beat him once already and him lose again. It's just that just makes no sense. Jay will win the title, and it's going to be a great moment. So good for Jay Uso, no doubt about it. He's earned it. He's worked hard. He's been through it. So, yeah, good for him. Also, this week I thought was interesting, worth noting, LA Knight cut a promo on, I believe it was Drew McIntyre and Jimmy Uso. But in the process, though, he also cut a very serious promo on men's mental health, a la the Macho Man Randy Savage back in the day, who did something similar. Definitely pointing out the fact that, hey, if you're a guy, you know, or a young boy or whatever it is, just to let you know it's okay to cry. If you need someone to talk to, find someone to talk to. You know, definitely put that out there in the world. And coming from somebody like a WWE superstar will mean the world to a lot of young guys out there. Young kids, and will actually push them to do that if they need help. So good message from LA Knight. I just kind of want to put that out there and say that was awesome. And yeah, I'm all for that.
Then he
no doubt about it.
Immediately ended that promo with a shoot promo on Drew McIntyre right after.
They did.
Yeah. Basically, Drew McIntyre said something along the lines of at Royal Rumble. Somebody had to get their shit in, so that's why that goes was supposed. So LA Knight's like, yeah, well, I had to get my shit in, so so he kind of laid it back out.
Was hilarious.
Nice shoot promo there for sure. Also on SmackDown last week, Solo Sikoa returned after taking some time off from getting defeated by Roman Reigns for the Ula Fala, and he once again attacked Cody Rhodes. They're definitely heralding perhaps that maybe he'll be wrestling Cody Rhodes at the Elimination Chamber for the WWE Championship. Don't know exactly how things worked out on SmackDown tonight, but I know Solo Sikoa was in the building, so we'll see how that goes. But
Jacob doing Jacob things.
Yeah, Jacob Fatu looks like he's got his eye on Cody Rhodes as well. But if it's just Solo versus Cody Rhodes again, do we necessarily need that to happen once more? Because it's happened quite a bit over the last 6 months or so. It feels like Solo Sikoa is just getting fed to Cody here to kind of buy time before Cody gets his WrestleMania opponent, which kind of sucks. But again, if you include house shows and live events and dark matches and all the television tapings, Cody Rhodes has wrestled Solo Sikoa 20 times and he's beaten him every single time.
Holy shit, I didn't realize that.
Now, granted, on television, it's not been near that much, but I think it's been at least twice in main event matches on television. So this will be the third time, unless Solo beats Cody, which I don't see happening. Is this necessary at this point?
No, but yes, also, because right now you got Kevin Owens wrapped up in this thing with Sammy, which Sammy put a promo out about. You got Randy's not back yet. You got,
which is interesting to me. I don't think he's hurt. It was just angle, I thought. But yeah,
you got Jacob and he's gonna end up going after who? Drew?
I'm sorry, Tama Tonga.
Yeah,
Drew.
Yeah, like him and Drew have been having a couple little interesting meetings. Solo, it's got nothing to do but pick up where he left off with Cody, but now Solo. I think this is
literally Solo.
We're going to. I think Solo's going to be going back to what he was in NXT.
Okay.
And which is like the Samoan version of Kevin Owens is what he was in NXT.
As long as that could get over just as well. That's the key. He's kind of over due to the Bloodline storyline, but he's going to have to be able to fly on his own.
He can. He did before. He did.
Absolutely. We just haven't seen it on the main roster yet. That's all I'm pointing out.
This is probably a way to just kind of weave him into something to let everyone know he's back, and then he'll have this match with Cody, but he'll probably end up, at one point, facing Jacob. So
that could be a lot of fun. That could be your WrestleMania match, Solo versus Jacob. I could definitely see that happen. And to be honest, I don't know who you would have put over in that one because they both could use it at the WrestleMania.
I still wouldn't mind Tama and Jacob and Solo just becoming their own little thing. Or even having Jacob and Solo do tag, like be the new Usos on SmackDown.
Yeah, I'd be all right with that. Mike said he himself just returned to work after a month off due to his own mental health. There's no shame in getting help when you desperately need it. Trust me, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely good advice. Yeah, no doubt about it. So, like I said, big kudo props to LA Knight for that promo, no doubt about it. Also, this week on WWE television, Elimination Chamber qualifying matches continued as we now have John Cena, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and Logan Paul in the men's match on March 1st in Toronto, Canada. We also got Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, and tonight on SmackDown, Naomi also qualified. So that'll be interesting to see her and Bianca, the tag team, possibly squared off against one another in the chamber. And one more spot for the women's and two more spots for the men. On Monday Night Raw this upcoming week, Seth Rollins will face Finn Balor for one of the final spots remaining as well. I assume Seth Rollins will be winning that, since it kind of plays into all the stuff that's going on at the Royal Rumble, and who the final men or male will be in the men's Elimination Chamber match. We'll have to wait and see. But thoughts on these Elimination Chamber matches so far, and who do you think are maybe going to win these? Off the top of your head?
I get why the men's is set up the way it is, but why Logan Paul? And I understand maybe because you could do something with him and Cena, or you could do something with him and Punk. I understand why Roman's not in it.
Yeah, because they don't want him to take a fall. We talked about that last week. Yeah.
And Seth, but who the fuck is going to be the last guy?
It's a good question. I don't know. Sami Zayn's kind of playing the injury angle right now, so I don't see it being him. That we don't know yet. There's still a few weeks before the chamber. I'm sure there'll be another qualifying match somewhere, but yeah, I mean, I'm going to stick with Cena versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and probably whoever wins the women's match is going to be facing Rhea Ripley, I think, because I don't think Charlotte's challenging Rhea. I think she's going after Stratton, but I don't know. That could be anybody at this point.
Who the hell's the other one for the women?
I don't know. It's like I said, Naomi's one of them.
Yeah.
Unless they try to throw Rich in there and maybe bring back Jade Cargill or something, that could be interesting.
Maybe.
But again, I don't know exactly where she's been here for sure. But yeah, so we'll see where that goes. But yeah, interesting to say the least. As we mentioned a second ago, though, Ricky Starks, the one of the guys who was let go by AEW, did end up showing up on NXT this week. And why NXT, you might ask? Well, when inquiring why Ricky Starks showed up for NXT, WWE main roster sources believe that most creative heading into WrestleMania is already planned, and so NXT would be a much more fluid working situation for him to be added to the fold for the time being. So I think that Ricky Starks will probably eventually end up on the main roster on Raw or SmackDown, being a real close friend of Cody Rhodes. But for the time being, since WrestleMania is already kind of booked up between now and mid-April, it looks like Ricky Starks will at least be working NXT, and I'm perfectly fine with that. What about you?
That's the best option.
Yeah, good talent. I hated to see him leave AEW because he was good, but who knows what the whole reason he was? We may never know. But absolute Ricky Starks is definitely going to be a nice addition to the NXT roster. But it's kind of interesting that when you look at AEW over the last few years, all of Cody's close friends in pro wrestling who were in AEW with him, 4 of them have already followed him to WWE, which is interesting.
Why not?
I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just interesting that all of his real close friends are the ones who did it and not other wrestlers. You know what I mean? It's interesting. But to say the least, and not to mention Ethan Page and Sean Spears are both also in NXT.
Sean Spears just came back.
Did he? I think he, I thought I
at
heard he was
the pay-per-view over the weekend. He came back.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear. No doubt about it. Mike said, am I the only one that thinks Logan Paul will never be a babyface?
No,
Crowd hates him too much, and he is just very hateable. Yeah.
He can't. I think he has too much baggage with him. And don't get me wrong, they pop for his moves and shit. But I think him as a personality, him with all of the shit that he's been wrapped up in and doing, there's no way. It'll be a monumental feat for him not only to do it in the wrestling aspect, but in real life to turn a face turn. He's got.
He won a few points with me when he interviewed Donald Trump before the election. Not gonna lie, I think it was him and his crew. I don't know who.
Yeah, it was him and his crew.
So he won a few points with me there, but yeah.
But
and, Mike, apparently Brandon, you've got a question incoming, so he's got to type it out. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, but as we do that, we'll move on a little bit here to talk about one of Digger's aforementioned subjects here. WWE has signed Demolition, Bill Eadie, and Barry Darsow, I think that's how you pronounce their names, to official WWE Legends deals. This one is surprising, as Eadie and then WWF were involved in a long, drawn-out legal battle over the rights to the Demolition name for many, many years. They were also part of the CTE lawsuit against the company that was eventually dismissed. And that's probably partially the reason why, if not the whole reason why, this legendary tag team has never been put in the WWE Hall of Fame. But hopefully that will now end up changing as these two legendary tag team wrestlers will hopefully be taking their rightful place inside the WWE Hall of Fame.
I remember when they it wasn't really terrified of these dudes, but man, it was so weird to see them with the face paint and the red tongues.
But definitely has that Kiss vibe. Yeah, for sure. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And all the spikes of leather. There's some weird BDSM shit going on here.
Yeah. Well, but I know Mike's been a big.
They're just Raiders fans that found their way into the wrong stadium.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they were the Raiders fans before the Raiders fans.
Yeah,
but they've been around for a long time. But I know Mike's been a very big proponent that they've been kind of shunned for the AEW and very, they deserve to be in it. They've been kind of like Reggie Wayne in the Indianapolis Colts. He deserves to go in, but by God, keeps getting looked over every single year. He'll eventually get there, I'm sure. But yeah, it's good to see these two guys for certain ending up in the Hall of Fame. But I'm sure Michael want to comment on that, so we'll answer his question first. He said, "Who do you think would benefit the most from a face turn, and who would benefit from a heel turn?" I guess that's now Brandon. Yes.
Shit.
I mean, I always love to see Cena try a heel turn, but maybe a little late.
But that's what it looks like it's leading to, because it's another.
I know you've thought that, yeah.
Because it's a part of Cena we haven't seen ever.
It would be the shortest heel turn ever, because I think they turned him face again before his final match.
Why not?
I mean, sure. I mean, you could.
Like I said, he tries his hardest to do all this stuff to get to WrestleMania to face Cody, and just comes up short every time, and just starts to get more and more bitter in the scrums as they go, and more bitter towards the crowd. And it's like, I think it'd be very interesting to see Cena turn heel for the only time, the last leg of this tour that he's doing, and then get his match with Cody after WrestleMania. It doesn't have to be WrestleMania.
No,
because regardless of what show it is, Cena's last match would feel like a WrestleMania.
Yeah, I can say.
No matter where, no matter what pay-per-view it is, it's such a big deal. You know what I mean? And to have us get that side of Cena we never got the whole time he was there will make it way more memorable.
That would be cool. Like I said, it could be a very short heel run. So they'll probably want him to be a face by the end of his year here. But
I guess to answer that question, Cena.
That if he's ever on the show.
Yeah. As far as face, who could use a face turn?
God. Going back to the heel thing, for me at least, real quick, while you're thinking.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I thought that perhaps they were teasing the Sami Zayn one. I thought that could be interesting, considering it's done a world of good for Kevin Owens going to heel. But I just don't know if they're going to pull the trigger on it. They could, but that's going to be a little bit more of a longer, drawn-out story leading into Mania 2. So, but maybe he could, maybe just joining Kevin after Kevin beats the tar out of him. That could very well happen. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But that's the one that jumps off my head for that one. Now for babyface, maybe somebody like a Solo or somebody maybe could benefit from that.
Maybe
if Jacob ends up continuing to just pound on him and like breaks away from him, or I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know.
You know who else could probably? This is gonna sound vindictive. Charlotte could use a face turn. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, but just like Logan Paul, I don't think
she's unlikable.
Yeah, I don't think it'll work. Yeah, I think you're right.
As far as who else. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just
not only that, because you got to remember when she got booed on Monday Night Raw after she won the Rumble, she was actually cutting a babyface promo.
Yeah.
Now and then the following Friday night on SmackDown last week, they said screw it. She just went right back to cutting heel promos again. So I think they said let's just lead into the booze because it's not going to work.
Because it's not going to help you.
Not right now. So
someone else who could benefit from a heel turn, legitimately in the women's division, is Bianca.
That could be good. Yeah, that would be a good one. I like that idea.
Making her the bad guy would be.
Yeah, or definitely her or Naomi, but definitely Bianca. I think that'd be a good one. And he said, remember Cena when he started the rapper gimmick, he was a heel then. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but he was a funny heel, so it didn't count. Like it really didn't. Because
he became a face because of that.
Yeah, his heelness in that whole rapping thing made him way too likable for him to be a heel.
Right.
I know that's what he was supposed to be, but it did not work because the rapping. People found it entertaining.
Yeah.
And so even though he's talking trash, it didn't matter because people was entertained by the raps. So like, he didn't even get booed in his matches. Like,
no, definitely not.
A real true heel Cena run, like a bitter old man. And if anybody could pull it off, it's him.
Oh, absolutely.
But that bitter guy who was always at the top, he's not used to this shit. Like I said, he interjected himself in the chamber. He didn't have to do a qualifying match.
Oh, no.
Like that could be used as a story.
Which I always looked at like, and I understand why, because he's talking about here, and he did. But at the same time, I always hate it when WWE does these storylines like, oh, well, this person, he don't have to qualify, but everybody else has got to qualify.
But that makes it, but that
plays into the character. It would.
But that would feed into the whole thing.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Mike said in the chat, bringing back up the Demolition storyline, he said that they were his second favorite tag team behind the Road Warriors or Legion of Doom was the way I always remember them. But to me, Demolition is the true greatest WWE, WWF tag team champion ever. So yeah, that's a solid point. So yeah, like I said, very, very well deserved, and hopefully we'll see that. Hopefully this year, if they sign a deal, and hopefully we'll get to see them in the WWE Hall of Fame in 2025.
That would be cool.
Somebody we did find out today is going into the WWE Hall of Fame, though, is Undertaker's wife herself, Michelle McCool, will be the second entry into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2025. Thoughts on her, Brandon, and her career?
She was dope. I actually really liked Michelle McCool.
Yeah, I mean, I liked her. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from her career or anything, but a part of me wonders, is it Hall of Fame worthy? But I'm not against the idea or anything. Part of me just wonders if this is just because she's Undertaker's wife.
No, because she was around in that time when the whole thing was transitioning from girls in skimpy outfits to becoming the whole diva thing.
The trailblazer like thing,
real,
they always say. Yeah,
female wrestlers. She was a part of that. Trish Stratus, Trish Stratus, Stacy Keibler,
Lita,
Luna, Molly
Holly,
and Lita, like Jacqueline, whole thing. Like she was there.
It was a little after China and all that stuff.
Yeah, but she helped propel the women's division into kind of what we have now.
Now, I would say that her with Layla Cool, when they were a tag team, I think that was worthy, because I thought that women's tag team was great. As a singles, maybe I'm just not remembering a ton of her career. I'm not trying to badmouth Michelle McCool. I think she's awesome, but at the same time, I just don't know if I quite understand.
She was in the.
Maybe I just need to go back and look at some of her work. I don't know.
The Divas title division, wasn't she a champion a couple times?
Oh, definitely, no doubt. But
she had some banger matches too. I remember.
Maybe I'm just not remembering.
She had like the skater girl gimmick. She came out with like the gloves on and shit. Interesting. She was like that.
She was a skater girl. She said.
All right, Horton. I'm gonna need you to shut that down.
But no,
copyright.
It'll definitely be one of those speeches I'm looking forward to, because maybe she could kind of remind me of some of this stuff, you know. And again, like I said, I'm not saying she's not worthy. I just need to. Maybe they'll show a video package on SmackDown.
You need to be more familiar with her work.
Yeah, I got you.
And I've watched all the stuff. It's been a while. So maybe part of me is just not. Maybe just kind of looking back on the Divas division. Sometimes under Vince McMahon was just not always.
It wasn't what it was, dude. It was not. But the girls made it work, though.
They did. They did what best they could with what they had, for sure. So maybe, you know, in that regard, definitely give her the Hall of Fame in that regard, what she had to work with. So no doubt about that. So yeah, thoughts on the Hall of Fame so far with Triple H and now Michelle McCool.
I don't think we're going to get anything nowhere near as good as Paul Heyman's induction, because like Paul is a storyteller.
Yeah,
Taker made me cry. Like I had some tears of Taker. Like damn. Paul Heyman's got you emotional in the beginning, but Paul is a great storyteller. So Paul took you on an emotional roller coaster through his speech. Triple H is another one of those guys. Like I grew up watching Triple H wrestle, from Hunter Hearst Helmsley to the Game to the Cerebral Assassin to blowing both his quads. Him coming back jacked in that blue jean vest jacket, like
the denim,
to the whole King of Kings gimmick. I lived through the Katie Vick. All right.
Oh God, you shall not mention her name. Basically, you want to explain that to Horton quick in 5 seconds,
dude? It was a corpse in a funeral home, and he fucked her. It was crazy.
I've heard about that.
That was a storyline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That was a thing. But yeah, it's one of those things in wrestling circles we don't mention no more.
Dude,
it was that bad.
So, but
even during the time period.
I say all that, but like Triple H was a very polarizing figure. Like there were
no one's disputing Triple H.
Okay, real quick before you guys move on from Triple H, just remember where he was the other day.
Yeah, it was
awkward. All that.
Yeah, well, we were talking about how it was awkward to see him sitting behind Stephanie McMahon Linda McMahon as she was being voted to confirmed for the head of Secretary of Education, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Triple H is, but like Triple H is. I'm looking forward to Triple H's Hall of Fame induction speech, but at the same time, like Triple H is too humble of a person, like legitimately, to where. I want the game one last time.
He's humbled now. Maybe he didn't used to be like that. I've heard Chris Jericho.
Oh no! I mean, nobody was in that fucking locker room.
Well, of course not.
No. But, I don't know.
I mean, part of that goes with age.
You wanted to be at the top, like period. Yeah. That was where you made money.
Yeah,
like I don't give a fuck what we talking about. Like
I don't think they realized in the 80s and 90s that we were going to have the internet today. Or maybe they wouldn't have done some of the things that they did.
A lot of people are going, man, I wish we didn't have the internet. I mean, especially people in politics for certain.
But yeah, I think this
later, Joe,
shaping up pretty good.
We ain't gonna get full blown into it yet.
Who else do you think is gonna get inducted this year?
Well, Demolition now for sure. Yeah. I would still like to see Bray Wyatt, but he's one of those guys I think, like you've said before, should be a headliner. Yeah. If Triple H is there, he might overshadow it a little. You don't want that.
No, Triple H is going to be your headliner this year.
Outside of that, I really don't know. That's the problem with Hall of Fames. Eventually, you run out unless you start making more. What
was the right time to do Bray?
I would have thought it'd have been last year or this year. Last year, you maybe say it was a little too soon after his death. But this year would have been perfect, I think. But I don't know.
But I'd rather him be the headliner.
I would too. And have his
Bo,
brother,
Bo do the induction. Man,
Mike said that. Michelle McCool and Layla cooled the women's title, even breaking the belt in half like one of those Fred necklaces. That wasn't great for sure. He also said, I loved Austin's induction speech because I saw him when he was a rookie in Texas and Tennessee. Yeah, Austin had a really good speech.
Austin's was good too.
Slara the Assassin, one of our loyal watchers here, says, do the women have to dress like that? I mean,
not anymore.
Not as much as they used to. I mean, it was way worse back in the Attitude Era.
Brother, it was bad.
Yeah, it was very sexualizing.
Risque.
You think it's bad now? I mean, it was way worse.
Then. Like then, what a lot of those women looked like in their bra and panties. They were on TV like that the majority of the time. Now,
and embarrassingly so, put up to it by Vince McMahon, which we now know some of the stuff he's been into even further. And hopefully Triple H is not involved in that, but it kind of sounds like he might have known about
it. They said that they dropped all that shit.
I think they settled. There's a difference between settled and dropping. But I don't know. That maybe just be for maybe for Vince in certain situations, maybe not the whole thing. I'm not totally sure yet. But anyway, let's move on a little bit to AEW here before we move on here. WWE is not the only company picking up talent though, and a TNA talent at that. Breaking news tonight, according to Fightful Select, former two-time TNA World Champion Josh Alexander is now expected to sign with AEW. So, good talent. Get a little up there in age, but I mean that doesn't really matter. He's not 40 yet, still in his upper 30s. So, but for a wrestler of his talent, I think it's a good pickup. We'll see how they do with it. What are your thoughts on Josh Alexander? You watching much of TNA?
No, but I knew it was either way. He was either going to WWE or going to AEW. Like he was in talks with both companies after his contract was up, but it was up in the air at first of where he was going. But now we know where he's going.
It's kind of interesting. I mean, it's kind of one of those deals too. Now, WWE, don't be wrong, both companies are stacked right now when it comes to the roster, but I don't know where they would slot him in WWE right now. I really don't. Especially
I know him and Chad could have probably put on some hell of a matches though.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
And Gable. Oh, it'd been great.
And he can have some great matches in AEW too. Again, just got to get him working right when it comes to the storylines and stuff like that. As for the shows this week, MJF defeated Dustin Rhodes on Dynamite, but the bigger story came after the match when MJF was continuing his assault on the Natural. I expected Jeff Jarrett to kind of come out and further that storyline, but instead, Adam Hangman Page, who's had his run-ins with MJF as of late, came out to make the save, and they had a huge brawl that required security to be pulled apart. Security, sorry. Definitely not going to team up as we previously expected with MJF and Adam Hangman Page. This has become now a rivalry, a very heated one. Thoughts on this? It could be an absolutely great match. Hopefully they'll build up the storyline. Yeah, I agree with that. You're thinking that in regards to Hangman, aren't you?
Yeah. Like I always said, like Hangman, he should have been a focal point a long time ago. He was for a little while. And like, don't get me wrong, him and Swerve did was great. Here's the thing: everybody cheers for Hangman, or they want to, give Hangman shit because he burned down Swerve's house, his childhood home. Swerve literally went to this man's crib with his newborn baby. He broke into his house. I burned your house down too.
Again, he's basically a baby face, but for whatever reason getting booed. It's the other way around with Roman Reigns. He's a heel who's getting cheered.
Blows my fucking mind, and nobody.
It's crazy. I know, right? Well, now that you mentioned it, I see it all the time. But yeah, welcome Aaron to the show. By the way, good to see you, buddy. Slaughter the Assassin also said, "Is there age limits in wrestling?"
Yes,
there is.
There should be.
There should be. I agree with that. But Ric Flair would probably wrestle today if they let him. Yeah.
So there should be. Damn it.
There, no doubt for sure. I mean, maybe I don't know. What would be your cutoff? 60
for the men?
55? Any men or women?
For the men, it would be. Did you say 60?
Edge is in his 50s. I think so is Christian Cage, and they're still wrestling at decent levels.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
Not saying,
but they killed their bodies early.
Now look at Dustin Rhodes, who just had a great match with MJF. Yes, let's not bury the lead here. That was a great match.
Dustin also, just like Edge and Christian, beat their bodies up early.
True.
And then they still have them in the, now. They're not.
Oh, that Dustin's in one of the best shapes of his career. Or the best shape of his career.
So possibly. I guess I'd say 60. 60 is a good age to just go ahead and stop it.
What about the women? Hell, Mae Young was still doing it in her 90s, wasn't she? Yeah. Well, spots. It was like full-blown matches.
She took a power bomb from Bubba Ray. I don't want
off a stage through tables. Yeah. I don't know how long was she in her 70s at that point.
Yeah, she's in her 70s at that point. Yeah.
She was
tough
one tough
there.
Yeah, tough old girl right there.
She told him.
I'm gonna like interject here before you guys get yourself in a hole you can't get out of.
Oh no.
Some guys should give it up a lot earlier, but some people are living a little longer.
That is true.
Some women can go a little longer. Like,
yeah. I was gonna say the women could last a little longer, but like some of these women too, some of their matches are brutal.
Yeah, some of them need to slow down.
Oh yeah, no doubt. No, we're definitely not trying to like limit anybody based on their age or anything like that. We're just
but I'm not jumping off a ladder at 60.
I ain't doing it now at 43.
Yeah. I was just saying I ain't doing it at 41.
Yeah. No kidding, no doubt.
Neither am I, to be honest with you. I seen that we were watching wrestling when we watched it. I was like, it makes me hurt to see it. Like I feel your pain. So. I don't know. I guess it depends on the wrestler, but at the same time, if you've had a long career, and you're pushing your six, let it go. Like, hang it up, man.
Yeah.
Just move on. It's better for everybody.
Yeah.
When it comes
look
to
at how long football players last. Like, I mean, some of them.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Yeah. Speaking of new talent, though, Harley Cameron has been gaining popularity with her talents on AEW programming, using things such as ventriloquism, her singing ability, and this week her rap skills. The crowd seems to be very much behind her, and she's very easy on the eyes, too. I'm not going to lie to you. But TK, definitely, Tony Khan needs to take advantage and make a new star here. More on her when we preview the big show this weekend here in just a minute. But thoughts on Harley Cameron real quick? You've been keeping an eye on her career at all? She's a very good ventriloquist.
Yeah, I've seen that. The puppet is
making fun of Mercedes here in the ring with the puppet for sure. And that rap she did this week, basically where the puppet was singing and rapping, hilarious, by the way. So definitely good on her. And we'll talk about her more in just a second. But this week as well, talking about the main event on AEW, Mox versus Cope is now official for AEW Revolution on March 9th after Cope and Jay White stole the briefcase, holding the AEW World Championship from Marina Shafir and the Death Riders. Cope also brought out his old friend Spike, which is basically a black 2x4 with nail sticking sticking out of it, and threatened to smash the briefcase if Mox didn't accept his challenge. He smashed the briefcase anyway after Mox finally accepted in a bit of a weird way. Mox said he would accept to show how much he cares for the belt, but refused to accept the challenge in weeks prior, so it didn't really make a ton of sense in my opinion, but whatever. But as predicted, with the introduction of the spike and the 2x4 being brought back into the story, this is definitely going to get bloody in a few weeks here. But Copeland Mox is definitely the marquee that Adam Copeland was dreaming of when he shortened his last name. So here it is, the one he was talking about. So, and again, once again, I'm not going to lie, these graphics look great. But thoughts on this, introducing the spike and potentially being a blood feud by the time this is all over?
Listen, the talent I don't have a problem with. I don't.
I know.
I think they'll burn the house down.
Yeah.
It's going to be bloody. Fine. It's the story I can't get into. That's the only thing for me.
And hopefully that means this match will hopefully pivot away from that after.
And like I told, like if I can give you a story and it makes sense to you, who am I to this wrestling company? Nobody. But if I can give you a story, outline a story that you can follow for this to be a thing, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I could take the same players you're giving me, all this, if they're all wrapped up in it, but I can give you a story that works, even to build off of, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do it.
And to your point, I want to say this too. We're not covering everything in AEW. Obviously, we're not doing the same thing for WWE. Trying to shorten this up a little bit, but AEW over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, have put on some pretty good programming, in my opinion, storylines included. This happens to be probably the weakest storyline on the entire show, which is crazy to me. But I just want to say that I think the shows have improved over the last few weeks, and they're continuing, and they're building at least a few weeks here, a good solid stretch. Hopefully they can continue that moving forward. Every show's not going to be perfect, but I think it's a good start. So hopefully this will be a good pay-per-view and everything after Australia tomorrow night as well, which we're going to talk about in a second. So just wanted to put that little shout out there too. Mike said, if you remember too, Eddie Guerrero went in the very next Mania after his passing. So yeah, I guess it's not unheard of for them to kind of put somebody in the following year. And Slaughter the Assassin also said, Miranda, I love your name tag. I totally agree about Olive Garden. So yes, no doubt about that for sure. Apparently you're, and after I mentioned it to Brandon tonight too, and you said it, I was like, yeah, you're right. I think it kind of is. It just feels like fast food Italian a little bit to a degree.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, I don't know, Fazoli's, but it's, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, I don't know, there's better places, I'm sure. I get it. But anyway, I don't go very often, but anyway. Yeah, so speaking of the last thing about AEW too, so their big show, AEW Grand Slam Australia, is tomorrow night on Saturday, live on TNT and Max. I'm following the NBA All-Star game, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously we got, what's that? Oh, I thought somebody says it. Maybe I've just got an echo again. All right, we got the Brisbane Brawl, Copen Jay White versus the Death Riders. We got Mercedes Moné defending her TBS championship against Harley Cameron. We got Mariah May versus Toni Storm for the Women's World Championship. We got Konosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher versus Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, and Kazuchika Okada defending the AEW Continental Championship against Buddy Matthews. Right off the top, I think Harley Cameron should win the TBS championship here because for one, it'll build a new star, and Mercedes Moné does not need 4 championship belts. She can lose one and be just fine.
Jesus.
Now, 3 of those are not AEWs. They're like New Japan and other companies. But it won't hurt her to lose one belt and let hopefully build someone new out of that, in my opinion. So that's off the top. I think, again, same with Buddy Matthews. I think Kazuchika Okada will be just fine without it. I think it's another guy you can build up with Buddy. Hopefully they'll do both of those right. Toni Storm and Mariah May, you could give the belt back to Toni if you want to. But either way, I'm fine with, just depending on where the storyline goes and where it takes it. When it comes to Will Ospreay Omega versus Takeshita and Fletcher, again, if you want to build the young talent, great. But either way, I can see the baby faces winning here and Ospreay and Omega getting the win. And the Death Riders versus Cope and Jay White. It depends on where they want to go leading into Revolution with Cope and Moxley. So either way, I'm fine with it, to be totally honest. I would probably predict the Death Riders to win and maybe Cope to get the big victory at Revolution to get the revenge. So I could definitely see that happening. I don't know if Brandon's still there, but if he is, do you have any other thoughts?
Nope. Good.
Nope. All good? All right.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
I don't know. It's
Sweet.
acting weird.
Okay. Well, hopefully he'll be back here and we can figure that out as we head into some other stuff. Mike said All-Star game is Sunday. There's other All-Star stuff on Saturday, like the 3-point and dunk competition. Okay, cool. Which I didn't check those out. I haven't watched the dunk competition and 3-point contest in a long time. Anybody else really get into those?
That's been forever.
I know, right? But definitely, it's kind of like the NFL Pro Bowl. I know they've brought back like the passing competitions and stuff, which I think I'd probably like more than the actual game at this point. So
I don't know. The game was I will say the game was entertaining to an extent. To hear a lot of the trash talk is hilarious on the football field.
Yeah.
Now that they don't have helmets and shit on, you can actually see them, joking and laughing and having fun or whatever. And it does get pretty competitive. That tug of war game was serious business. Like
It was. That was
and
funny.
them were some big boys.
Oh, I bet. kind of hate that I missed that the last few years, but maybe I'll check it out next year. But they're doing flag football now, Eli versus Peyton.
Yeah, they're
right?
doing flag football.
Well, there for a long time, the Pro Bowl was just not worth watching, but they have changed the format over the last 2 years. So I'm kind of like, part of me is like, maybe I'll check it out again. But I just never have got back into it.
The flag football game was good because you can see how how fast a lot of these receivers are without pads on, and Justin Jefferson is so fucking fast. It's not funny. It was crazy.
Well, it didn't help the fact too that I went to Royal Rumble that weekend. I was dead tired for like 3 days after that. That's probably partially why I didn't watch the Pro Bowl for sure. Let's see here. Mike said baseball All-Star game is the only All-Star game that actually seems competitive. That actually has stakes when it comes to the World Series, does it not? Like the winner get like home field, if I'm not mistaken. Advantage. Is that how that goes? I'm pretty sure. Maybe Mike can correct me on that. If Matt was here, he'd have the right answer for me. Of course, the one time we talked football, and we're going to talk a little NASCAR too, he's not here. So, again, he's been replaced. He's going to be so mad when he sees that. But anyway, so, all right.
He'll live.
He'll live, yeah. You're fired, Matthew. Anyway, all right. All right, let's move into the next bit of stuff on the slate here. Let's move into the movie news. Mike said they did away with that. I guess talking about the the winner getting home field, or what World Series. So all right, fair enough. So fair enough. Shows what I know. But anyway, when it comes to movie news this week, got a little bit to talk about here. Let me see if I can pull up the right thing here. I gotta find it. That's the thing about doing it this way. It always throws me off. Where are we at here? Did I lose it? Okay, there we go. So let me go on my own here just a second because I am the only one, I'm sure, who has seen Captain America Brave New World. I went and seen it last night. Got the opportunity to check out Marvel Studios' latest entry starring Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford. Now, this is going to be a non-spoiler quick review from me, so don't worry about any spoilers here. I'm not going to ruin the movie in any given way. Nothing important especially. And up front, I'm just going to say this. I was pleasantly surprised. Now, is it top 10 MCU of all time? No. Far from it. Is it bottom 10 in the MCU? Nope. Far from it. But I will say this. It's solid. I enjoyed it far more than Eternals, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, The Marvels, Thor the Dark World, Black Widow, and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So I think it's better than all those movies. But of course, it's not Civil War, it's not Iron Man, it's not Winter Soldier, or any of the Avengers movies, in my opinion. I felt this movie did a really nice job of solidifying Sam Wilson as the new Captain America. As someone who has had some difficulty accepting the transition from Steve Rogers to Sam Wilson holding the shield, by the end of this film, I felt much better about it and was able to believe he'll be able to fill those rather large shoes moving forward. I was a bit concerned that this film was going to come off as an extended episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but for the most part, I'm happy to state it felt bigger than that for the majority of the film. Not saying the TV series style wasn't there, because it was to a degree. But overall, the action is a lot of fun, especially during the flight sequences. It follows up on key story elements in the overall MCU story arc, and there's a few twists and turns that kept me invested. It wasn't oversaturated with humor and had a more serious tone, which was very refreshing, because sometimes Marvel Studios can overdo it with the jokes. But they struck a very good balance here, in my opinion. Now, I will say, though, this promotional material that we showed on the podcast a few weeks back was either a straight-up ruse, or they pivoted mid-shoot and decided to go a different direction, because the leader looks nothing like this in the final film. Nothing at all. And in a lot of respects, this is a sequel to the 2008 Edward Norton Incredible Hulk film. But Harrison Ford takes over the role of Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross from the late William Hurt, and he honors the character well, in my opinion. Harrison Ford looks to be having a really fun time playing this role, and while the Red Hulk is only in the film for maybe 5 to 7 minutes, he looks outstanding, and I hope we get to see more of the Red Hulk moving forward, especially if they do a World War Hulk film. But Harrison Ford is in a lot of the film as President Ross. It's just not a small role whatsoever, so it's good to see Harrison Ford having a good time here, no doubt about it. But critics, per usual, are harsher on films if the dialogue, the editing, or whatever isn't to their liking. And while this film may have some issues in those areas at times, I really didn't notice it because I was so invested in the movie itself to care. And I would agree that it's the lowest rating of the Captain America films. However, that's mainly because the Captain America trilogy, to me, is the best trilogy of the entire MCU. Audiences are actually liking this film far more than critics. And that's great to see, considering too many movie fans nowadays expect Infinity War or Endgame every time they go to see a Marvel film. And I believe that's unfair expectations you're setting for yourself as a viewer. Yeah. Just because a movie doesn't live up to that unreal expectation does not mean that the film is bad. Okay, it doesn't. Everything does not have to be either a 10 or a 0. There are good movies that fall in between, and Captain America Brave New World falls in that category for me. This was an appetizer that's priming you for what's to come over the next year, and the one post-credit scene at the very end of the credits does exactly that. It's a bridge, a slow burn to get us from Deadpool and Wolverine to Daredevil Born Again in a few weeks, and Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four this summer, leading into Avengers Doomsday next year. And in that regard, I think the film exceeds very well. To me, this is a 7.5 out of 10 for me personally. So, I know you guys have probably not seen this film yet, obviously, since it just came out last night. But what are your thoughts on the review I just gave? Kind of what you're hoping for, maybe not? Still looking forward to seeing it? What are your thoughts? Anything?
Kind of makes me want to see it, but I'm going to the theater.
I don't blame you. Yeah, it's just a lot for sure. And a lot of people were like, and to be fair, a lot of critics, like I said, are half and half on it. Like I said, they're 50% critic rating or so. So half are liking it, half are not. But the audience seems to be more enthusiastic about it. Yeah. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But it's real solid.
I agree with the whole. You're not gonna get what you got with Civil War. You're not gonna get what you're definitely not gonna get in Infinity War. That's not happening.
No, you should not expect that every time.
You're not gonna get what you felt from Iron Man. The reason being because those were different benchmarks. In the whole series of movies we got that led to Infinity War. This seems to be that. This is trying to be that first benchmark that Iron Man was, but it's continuing a story in a sense of that already started with the TV series. I enjoyed the TV series a lot. So for me, I would look to that to be the starting point of this Captain America series that leads into this, that leads into that, that leads into
this. I mentioned this is a sequel to The Incredible Hulk. This is also very much a sequel to Falcon and Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. So if you like that series, this is for you. Yeah, no doubt. So on top of it,
because I was pumped in that series when he got the shield, because I was like, oh, I mean, so for me, I think I would be on the side that would enjoy this movie, but I'm going in knowing already this is just another setup for another. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, it sets up. I mean, it hints at a few things coming forward.
Yes,
but it's still pretty much a solo thing for Sam Wilson, and like I said, establishing him.
Yeah, Iron Man set up. It was a quick scene of a hammer in a field.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the end credit. I mean, it's not exactly like that, but
yeah, you get
it's a little tease for something.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's all that was. Yeah, nobody knew who the fuck Thor was until then. Like nobody knew. Yeah, unless you were a nerd and you knew, but like. The casual fan, the ones that went to see these movies, they had no idea what that hammer meant until they got introduced to that person. So, like,
yeah. Well, and not only that, in regards to the Captain America, if you want to kind of take a parallel from this and Captain America: First Avenger, Chris Evans' first Captain America movie, mm-hmm. I hold the First Avenger a little higher than a lot of people do. They think that's the weakest Captain America, and it probably is for Chris Evans' version of the character. This is, to me, 1A and just slightly below it from First Avenger. So to me, it's almost on the same level for me when it comes. And like I said, that's good for Sam Wilson in the long run, I think, and for Anthony Mackie as the character. So in that regard, if it establishes his character and he can continue to do it for the next 10 years like he's hoping, I think it's great. So he just needs to learn to keep his mouth shut on the promo trail, for sure. Don't say anything controversial. Don't be doing that. But if you could stop doing that, I think you got a solid, future here as the new Captain America, no doubt about it. So Mike said, I'll catch it on streaming for sure. And Slaughter the Assassin said the same thing. I'll definitely wait for streaming. Hard to find time to go to a theater these days. You're not wrong.
Exactly.
That is hard to do. Plus,
well, you have to take a second mortgage out to go.
Yeah.
I was about to say, exactly. Especially if you have kids and
I got a popcorn machine at home. I don't need to. Hell.
Well, and nowadays, like we've talked about before, you don't have to wait very long. This film would probably have to wait at least 3 months, but a lot of movies that aren't nearly as good, you'll get them in a month on streaming. So why bother? Hollywood's kind of killing the movie industry in the theaters.
Well,
at least.
you can hit pause, go to the bathroom, and not have to worry about missing anything.
Exactly that too. So,
or you can fall asleep.
Yeah.
I agree with that. So, that's when you pause and you just start again later. Exactly. But but on top of that too, I thought it was kind of interesting just to note too, to kind of go along as well, to kind of commemorate the holiday, as well as while he's officially gearing up to shoot Avengers Doomsday next month, and perhaps to put it out there on Captain America Brave New World's release date, Robert Downey Jr. released a special Victor Von Valentine for Valentine's Day today. And I'll tell you right now, nothing gives off the sense of impending doom more than this. So Robert Downey Jr. just kind of wishing everybody happy Valentine's Day, but also kind of wink wink as Dr. Doom is officially coming before too much longer in the MCU. So
here's the thing. I think he can pull, not that I think he can pull it off. I know he can pull it off. It's just going to be weird.
It's going to be interesting how they play it. I agree with that. They've got to do it right. That's going to be the trick. But that's the thing. It's a challenge. And let's hopefully
he's acting behind another mask again. He pulled it off once before.
New mask, same task, he said.
Yeah.
So I like to see what that means, especially. So I can't wait to see it. But he even wrote Victor Von Valentine. So that sounds like Victor Von Doom, not evil Tony Stark. So I don't know. Either way, I can't wait to see it. But it was a little thing that he added this week. I thought was pretty cool. So looking forward to the MCU movie. I actually think that Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom will show up this year in Fantastic Four before the year is out. I think, if nothing else, more a cameo at least.
That's another movie I think I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
I
think that's going to be the best one of the year for Marvel, in my opinion. So, but I'm still looking forward to Thunderbolts. So we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit, too. But outside of Marvel a little bit, let's break away a little bit from that. And let's talk about another movie that's coming out this October. And that is, of course, Mortal Kombat 2.
What?
Now officially has now released its logo on top of everything. I know we watched it what was it, a couple years ago here.
Yeah, that shit was dope though.
Well, some of it.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Retract. The fight scenes was dope.
The Cole Young stuff, not a fan of, but and I think did he kill Goro halfway through the first film? So I was like, but the action on top of it though was pretty solid. I like the stuff they did in Elseworld. Was it Elseworld?
No, I'm thinking about the TV show we watched.
Outworld. Sorry.
Outworld.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, the TV show?
I'm just really hoping that the little toasty guy pops out of the bottom corner.
Dude, that would be great for the movie.
Whoop, dude.
Man, that would be upset if it doesn't happen. So,
you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. No, the movie, Brent. I don't know what you're talking about. You talking about TV series?
I was talking about the TV series that we seen that was on I can't remember what the whole.
Yeah, I think it's a little older, isn't it?
I don't know, but yeah, the movies. I don't know.
Yeah, we're talking about the movie.
Annihilation.
That one though with Scorpion and Sub-Zero was great. That storyline was good.
The one with Cybrax, was that Annihilation that had the cyborgs in it?
Cybrax or Cyrex?
Yeah, the red Cyrex. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was two of them, right?
Mortal Kombat fans are going, you butchered
there was two of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Cyrex, I can't remember them all now. They're
I can't remember them all. Fuck.
But we did get a tease for one of the characters that's going to be in Mortal Kombat 2, which they teased at the end of the first film. And that is, of course, we got our first poster of Carl Urban as Johnny Cage. And this is obviously not of him. This is one of his movie posters as an actor in the series. So it says, from the studio that brought you Rebel Without a Cage, Uncaged Fury. So again, this kind of played into the character, obviously. So this is our first look of him, and I don't know if that means he's going to be taking on a larger role in the film, or the starring role. I'm not totally sure, but if
He
that's the
thinks
case,
he's
well
a star in
deserved. Johnny
every
Cage is great.
role.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe they're just gonna play it up here too. But I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I just, like I said, I just don't know if I feel the Cole Young stuff. That's always been the thing with that last iteration.
Man, I don't know, cause like, the only reason you care about Mortal Kombat is because of the fatalities. Nobody cares that Mortal Kombat has a story.
Well, I mean, like I said, I like the Scorpion and Sub-Zero stuff.
That was dope, though. But that was great. Dope.
But that was the best storyline of the whole film.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like,
yeah,
the storyline between the two ninja clans, as far as Sub-Zero and Scorpion go, best story ever. But like in the Mortal Kombat world, the overarching story of Mortal Kombat is literally fighters from another realm have to fight for their realm.
Well, that was the other thing too. There was no tournament in the last movie.
Yeah,
so there
no
needs to be a
tournament.
There needs to be a tournament this time.
Do it like the games do it.
Yeah,
do it that way.
And I actually thought the first Mortal Kombat movie back in the '90s did a really good job with the tournament aspect.
Yeah, but the fighting was ass in that. That shit was cheesy as hell.
For 1990s or whatnot, you know. I mean, you know. But yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Ugh.
Yeah, but anyway.
I'll wait till the trailer comes out. Hopefully it is like that Sub-Zero and Scorpion show that we watched, and then I'll get behind it. But like, if we're just remaking the same shit that we already did, there's no real story. I don't want to see that shit.
Can't blame you there. It does have to win some people over, especially, like I said, I hate to harp on it, but Cole Young, what were you thinking?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I mean, and you know he's probably in the movie because they set it up for him to return. So we'll have to wait and see, but maybe he takes a little bit more of a side character role. We'll have to wait and see if
probably fucking not.
Probably not. You don't think so?
No.
I mean, probably not. I mean, I don't know. But if they introduce new characters and they play them right, I mean, I thought the character designs look great.
Yeah, they look like the game. They look dope, but like, yeah, never mind.
Moving on, I guess. All right, so in the world of movies, we'll stick to it here just a little bit. Got a couple trailers, or actually 3 trailers I thought we'd react to real quick.
My.
Yeah, so the first one, a couple of these were released during the Super Bowl. One of them was released during the Super Bowl. This one, though, was released 3 days after that on Wednesday. And this is the live-action How to Train Your Dragon, the full trailer that was released, the new movie coming out. So let's take a look at that real quick and let you guys know what we think about it. Here we go.
We're all descendants of the finest dragon fighters from everywhere the Vikings ever traveled. These beasts are a threat to all of our lands. It's time, Hiccup.
I have to kill you. I ain't gonna lie, these dragon designs look great.
Hear that? I'm a Viking.
They're pretty much right out of the animated film, for sure.
It's okay. I won't hurt you.
Shot for shot.
Maybe they're not as bad as we think they are.
In case you forgot, our parents' war is about to become ours. Figure out which side you're on.
They've killed hundreds of us!
And we've killed thousands of them! Toothless, no! She's a friend! You all need to see this. I'm not one of them.
Wow, you've lost everything. Your father, your tribe, your best friend. What are you gonna do about it?
Probably something stupid.
Well, you've already done that.
And something crazy. What's up to us?
Us?
Stick with me. All right, bud, you ready?
Monster Hunter Bunch.
Come on! Here it comes!
The terrible terror!
It's like the size of my...
All right, so yeah,
Got him.
to me, this looks a lot like the live-action Lion King movie. It feels like it's going to be shot for shot the animated film. To me, now it is the same director and everything, and probably the best and safest way to do this is to do exactly that. So, I fully expect that. But your guys' thoughts?
I want a dragon.
I want a dragon. Like,
I mean, clearly this shows the names the dragons did. She's got dragons behind her.
I would like Toothless as a dragon.
Gotta get her a pet,
like,
Brandon.
If I want a pet dragon, it's gotta be Toothless. Okay, because by far the sweetest dragon ever.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I can't get a dragon, I'll get a donkey and I'll name him Toothless.
That's wild and not about to happen.
Donkey.
Terrible donkey. God. Anyway. yeah. Just give that Eddie Murphy voice.
Listen, donkey.
Eddie Griffin.
I'll give him a call and see if he's available, but you ain't getting a damn donkey.
No donkey. Well, what about a dragon then?
Yeah, we can get a dragon though.
One or the other.
That's fine.
Yeah.
If we can get a dragon.
Hey, Elon Musk thinks they're real.
As long as I can name him Big Oos, I don't care.
Oh, dude, that'd be great.
As
Big
long
Oos,
as you
come
can
here.
what?
Name him Big Oos.
Yeah.
Big Oos. Be down for that. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think the movie looks great.
Yeah.
Even if it is a shot for shot, like I said, that's probably the best route to take it. So yeah, I think all the cast looks pretty well cast. Obviously, you know, the father is played by the same guy who did the voice for him in the movie. So can't remember his name, Gerard Butler. So yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, everything looks good here. Everything looks on point. You got to nail Toothless, and they seem to have done that. So this movie, I think, is going to make $1 billion. I am not going to lie to you. It's going to be one of those movies that and Lilo and Stitch, I think, will make $1 billion.
That Lilo and
year.
Stitch looks hilarious.
Yeah. So as long as they nail that, again, probably a shot for shot if they're smart, but best way to take it. And as long as you nail Toothless and Stitch, money in the bank, in my opinion. So yeah, great to see. Also this week, like I said, during the Super Bowl, they had a 30-second spot for the upcoming Thunderbolts movie. But online, they released the full trailer. So I thought we'd take a look at that real quick, too, and let you guys know what we think about it. So let's check that out. Here we go. Pull it up.
Let's talk facts. The Avengers are not coming.
She does look like Tulsi Gabbard in that.
Who will keep
That's dope, by the way.
the American people safe?
There's some big threat out there, and you are gonna help me stop it.
Wait, us?
Yeah, you. Why, you got someplace to be?
I love that guy.
He's psycho,
So
dude.
none of us comply? So what, we all just punch and shoot? I can't think of a worse group of people trying to work together.
Stop! Speed! John, stop! Where are you?
Everyone here has done bad things. You can't escape the past. Hey, it's like your mind is somewhere else.
So you can do something about it now, or live with it forever.
This could get messy.
No shit. You thought you were gonna be some great saviors? You can't even save yourself.
Ripped his arm
You can't
off.
do this. No one here
Oh,
is a hero.
rip it off.
Lena, when I look at you, I don't see your mistakes. That's why we need each other.
Okay, that was really good.
We are the Thunderbolts!
Can't call ourselves that.
God, thank you. This has makings of team that can rise to glory. Bring light from the darkness. This team can be the heroes on the Wheaties box. With a little giddy toy.
Alexei, have you slept?
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
I'd like not to die today, so maybe somebody else should be driving.
So yeah, this definitely got that ragtag Suicide Squad Guardians of the Galaxy feel. I love the line in the trailer
Hilarious.
talking about how, you know, it will be on the Wheaties box Oh, I was trying to blow it up a little bit here, but here we go. All right, yeah, being on the Wheaties box, and of course getting the little kitty toy. So they had a Wheaties box poster. So I think that's awesome. So that's pretty cool. But obviously, again, without ruining anything, after seeing Captain America: Brave New World, obviously with Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross being the Red Hulk in that film, you can maybe kind of see why they say that we can't be called the Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
based on maybe what the Red Hulk does in that film. So that maybe makes some sense. But either way, it still works. And I think in the comics, obviously, I think wasn't Thunderbolt Ross maybe their leader even? I'm not positive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think this works great for the MCU. Got a good comedic feel to it, but also serious enough to not be overly, humorous for sure. Like we talked about earlier. Now, the one thing I did notice here, obviously on the poster, you see Taskmaster here on the back, but she's not really in the trailer that much. So it's leading a lot of people online to speculate she gets killed early on in this film.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to wait and see if that ends up holding true or not. A lot of people didn't care for the version of the Taskmaster in Black Widow. So maybe after the MCU's rebooted, as it were, after Secret Wars a little bit, maybe they can kind of reintroduce a different version of the Taskmaster, maybe more up to fan standards and liking. But we'll have to wait and see if that ends up holding true. But yeah, she's not in the trailer very much at all. So we'll have to see. But yeah, overall thoughts? Looking forward to this?
Looks good. Looks funny. Looks action packed. I'm intrigued by it more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I'll say this too, without ruining anything on Captain America, there is a cameo in that film that makes me go, where are they taking that potentially in this movie?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say that. I'm like, it was an interesting little wrinkle. I'm going, I wonder how that's going to play into things moving forward. But that's all I'll say about that. So I know that tells you absolutely nothing. But anyway,
that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, that's all I got. No, box of chocolates. But yeah. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that, all things considered. But yeah, speaking of other trailers though, Log, we got one more to talk about that dropped, I think it was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. But it kind of falls in line a little bit with the video game motif kind of going on here tonight. And that is, of course, season 2 of Twisted Metal. Dropped a short teaser on Peacock. For those of you who watched that show starring Anthony Mackie, here's a sneak peek of that season 2. Let's check it out.
The name's John Doe. Until a year ago, my life on the road was pretty routine. I met a drifter, we fell in love, we picked up a clown along the way. But the joyride is over. The tournament is here. I'll need to end every last driver that gets in my way. No pressure or anything.
Calypso, and I invite you to compete.
So, now I know.
So was the first season any good?
Yes.
I didn't get to finish all of it, but Brandon said it was.
I didn't finish all of it.
I heard mixed reviews on it, so I didn't watch it.
I liked what I saw, which is like 3 episodes. I need to finish it.
Sweet Tooth shows up, that whole episode, one of the most funny yet terrifying episodes ever, because Samoa Joe nails this psychotic clown that Sweet Tooth is, but standing next to Mackie, and Mackie's not small, but Samoa Joe is very big. Yeah. And it's very intimidating. Huh? Oh yeah.
Yeah, pro wrestler Samoa Joe.
But he pulls it off so well. And now that the tournament's here,
that's the thing I'm more excited about. And just like Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Was that is it Ajax or Jax?
Well, we got some teases in this trailer. Obviously, we got I don't remember, but this is Axel.
Oh, Axel, that's what it is. My bad.
Yeah, Axel with the two big tires on both sides of his arms.
Yeah.
We also got the tease of Dollface, which I don't know a whole lot about her. She might have been in some of the newer versions. I don't remember her.
I don't remember her.
But Mr. Grimm.
That's Calypso.
This is Calypso. And then, of course, Mr. Grimm on the motorcycle for sure. I know one of my favorites to play as was Spectre. I don't know if she's in this or not. But
I was gonna say, is that Mackey's character Spectre? But he's John Doe, so I don't know if
Yeah,
he.
John Doe. Spectre was a woman in the game.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I just like those heat-seeking missiles she always had, shoot through walls and stuff. It made it very easy to kill. But yeah, I love that stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of characters that go through. So I don't know how much they actually did that in the first season, but good to see them kind of introducing more classic game characters.
Like one. Wasn't there like a SWAT team dude, like a police car guy?
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but you're right. There was like somebody who, it was like in a SWAT SUV, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
I got all the games. I need to play them. I've got them on PlayStation 5. They had like a release date or release when the last season came out, so I was able to snatch those up. Cool. But yeah, it was kind of neat. But yeah, I haven't played them in a long time. But yeah, great to see this. I think it looks fun.
It was a fun game.
As soon as this come out, I'm like, dude, I got to catch up on that first season. It looks so much fun. So
yeah, you should definitely. I should finish it. Babe, we should finish watching this series.
Oh, I thought you said you did finish it. Did you not?
No, I never finished it.
Oh, I thought you did. Okay.
No, I've watched like all the way, probably the second to the last episode. I haven't watched the last episode.
Okay.
I should definitely finish this.
No,
have I watched any of it?
You watched the first three.
Okay. It was pretty funny. Like they did a good job of with the humor and the action.
It is gory.
Well, it should be. The games are dark. Way darker than this series is.
For what they were.
Yeah. Sweet Tooth nailed them. Like you got to see the episode. I think it's episode 3 when he first shows up.
I saw that one. That was well done.
Nailed it.
In the hotel, if I'm not mistaken.
The casino.
Casino. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, that was well done. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Going to finish the next one. Wish there was a release date, but they said summer on Peacock, so it's not too far off. Just a few months. So definitely looking forward to that. So yeah, I'm definitely thinking that's going to be a good hit.
Can you hear me now?
Definitely watch it.
Yeah, you're good, Aaron.
Horton, you should definitely watch it. Seriously, it's a good time.
All right. So with that being said, since we got a special guest tonight in my buddy Horton, I thought it'd be kind of fun to go over a topic in the world of gaming. So let's do that real quick. Here we go. All right, so there's nothing really new to talk about on this subject per se, but since I've got the panel together, I wanted to get their opinions on this upcoming game that I'm extremely excited about, and that is, of course, GTA 6. It is coming out. Yes. It's coming out supposedly at the end of this year, or sometime this year. It says 2025, so I'm assuming August, September.
I've heard fall.
Okay, well that tracks. Yeah. And there are some details we obviously do know about the game. Like I said, nothing new's really come out since they released their teaser trailer upwards about a year ago. I'm not going to play the audio, but I am going to kind of let this run. That way, if you have not seen it, you kind of see what the game actually kind of looks like so far in the teaser. This was like a year ago or so. So this could have all been polished since then. But I'll tell you right now,
it doesn't need a whole lot of polishing.
No, this looks outstanding. From a video game standpoint. I mean, this looks as close to real life in video game format that you can potentially get to. So
if I get the opportunity, I'm hauling ass through the Everglades with an airboat and mowing everything over.
Well, there's a shot. There's a shot in this game here where there's gators, so that's for certain. That's a thing. I mean,
is it on VR?
No, I don't think so. No,
be dope if it was though.
Yeah, exactly. But if this game plays. If it looks and plays half as good as it looks, I'm so down.
I just not gonna. I wanted to make sure because I would not want Jaden to play it.
Well, I mean, there's obviously stuff that's not for children in this, for certain. Like all the GTA games, but they are
pretty much not a child, though.
True too.
I still don't want him doing it.
But yeah, but the details we do know about the game, though, is that is of course launching in 2025, assuming there's no more delays. Pray there's not. But on platforms PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X's or XS is what it says here. So it does not sound like it's going to be on any last generation console. So Horton, you have to upgrade, buddy.
No, I already did, man.
Oh, did you? Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know if you did or not.
Yeah, I've got an X. Yeah, I've got a Series S.
Oh, Series X and S. That's what it means. Okay.
No, just Xbox. Series S.
No, yeah, you just.
Well, I think it said it would be on Xbox Series X too. But either
way. There's the X and then there's the S.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah. This shows everybody I'm not an Xbox guy. But yeah, so but yeah, I mean that
I
and
wasn't
of course
either, but
they've got the we got the details that of course the protagonists will be Lucia and Jason. So for the first time you'll be able to play as a male and a female. So that got a lot of people all upset going, "Oh, they're going this woke or whatnot." It's okay if you can play as a
It's
male or
not
female.
woke.
I got no problem
I've
with that.
I've played female lead characters in games before.
No,
Hell,
you ever
Yeah,
Mortal
I mean,
Kombat
Zero
stuff we talked about
Dawn-
earlier had a lot of females in it.
yeah,
So who cares?
Horizon
Yeah.
Zero Dawn literally is the chick Aloy. She's the main character. Hell, if you played any Tomb Raider games, you play as Lara Croft.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So who cares?
I mean,
But, you know,
it's as long as it's not like where they go into GTA 5 and revamp it to where it's all female cast or whatever.
Yeah. Like
You know,
make it like
this one's new story, new stuff.
still crazy.
Hold
world,
on,
same crazy
hold on.
world.
I got right. Oh, where was it? I just missed it. Right there.
Yeah,
the
that's
gator
it.
is walking into a convenience store.
You know why? Because this is everything
Because
that
it's
happens in Florida.
Well, yeah, it says here it takes place in the
They
state
should
of
just call it Florida Man game.
Yeah. They say the game takes place in the state of, I guess, Leonida, the home of Vice City. So obviously a place we've seen
Yeah.
before in the series.
We all
Obviously-
know where Vice City was at.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's Miami.
Now, the crazy part about this is if this is to be believed, which this has been out for a while, but GTA 5 map is on the left, GTA 6 map is on the right.
I can't even imagine.
Rap.
So it's easily about twice the size. And Vice
GTA's
City
map is big. Like we've driven around it enough.
and Vice City is on this map somewhere, I thought. But it's like, it's just like this one. It's just like this right section here. It's like Vice
Yeah,
City.
it's
as
just a little blip.
Yeah, downtown, right down here. So this whole thing up here is completely, not in that Vice City game.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, it's just nuts. So if this is all to be believed and all the details are true, because obviously the details are scarce at this point, this game looks great. So now, what comes to with great content and great graphics and all this stuff, I've also heard early rumors that it could cost upwards of $140, possibly.
Base?
It's all right.
Maybe. I don't know if that's, like I said, take it for a grain of salt right now. But for what you're getting, I think it's worth it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But
base?
I know base game, it sounds a little steep, but you know,
Some.
we're talking about a
I
game you're
don't-
going to be playing for the next decade, most likely too,
Or more.
or more. Yeah, the way they develop games.
Yes, there
God knows
people
we'll get
play-
another Red Dead Redemption. So
People play GTA
Whoa,
5
easy,
long
Thunder.
after,
Don't be sounding like that, man.
no, I
Yeah.
love Red Dead, but we haven't gotten other one in forever.
Yeah.
I mean, they're there for a long time.
Hell,
You know, Rockstar released games all the time, and now it's like once every
It
7
took them a
years.
long time to get Red Dead Redemption 2 out. Like,
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, I mean, they're going to polish everything, you know, make everything as sharp as possible. But at the same time, you know, they're milking GTA 5 for everything it's worth.
everything they can.
Yeah, and they'll do the same thing here, hopefully.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I say hopefully in regards I ain't got to buy all the games. So in a way, I'm complaining about it at the same time. It's good that you don't have to buy a game every single year. They just keep updating that one. So in a way, I like that. I wish WWE games or Mad would do that. But
I wish the NASCAR games would do that.
yeah, a lot of those.
Dude, I
games
have
are
not
games.
played a racing game like a real racing game in fucking forever. I know.
Well, they got racing in this game, so you're good.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not
But
racing.
But it's
every-
like they came out with NASCAR Heat 4, and then there was NASCAR Ignition, I think is what it was, and then there was NASCAR Heat 5, and it's like
yeah.
just make a game and then
And they-
update it every year because guys change cars and this, that, and the other, you know.
And they haven't
Instead
done a
of-
new
it's
NASCAR game in a
done.
while, have they?
Yeah, if you're not changing,
Heat 5,
That's been
Heat
ahead,
5
Doug.
is the newest one, I think. There's supposed to be one coming out. I can't remember what it's called.
Okay.
now Horton, do you have like the steering wheel and all that shit? Like,
No,
for your racing
no,
games?
because this is going to sound really weird. I only play when I'm at work,
Mhm.
and I don't have a whole lot of room.
Oh,
So
hilarious to see you crouched up like this, steering wheel. Just
Honk, honk.
it's bad enough. It's bad enough as it is. I'm in my room, and you know, I'm playing Grand Theft Auto or SnowRunner or whatever, and you know, somebody knocks on my door, and I'm like, "What?"
like a
Can
kid.
I
like,
help
what?
you? Yeah.
Usually it's my captain, and I'm like, I'll just holler out the door. I'm like, come back with a warrant. And
That's one way to keep them out. Slaughter the Assassin said, "Are these games fun?" Absolutely.
they're
It is definitely more on the adult side. Just be in mind of that. It's rated M for mature for a reason. There is definitely a lot of that sex, violence, and things like that. Drugs, you name it.
The GTA world is a big playground for degenerates.
Well, not only that though, that's mostly storyline too. There are things to do inside the city that, like, you can play sports, you can play the racing stuff, you could go play pool, you could go to the casino. There's things you can do. It's like a bunch of games rolled into one.
So like going to that, I play online with a group of guys. We have a crew. Shout out to UCCF. And so like we'll get together, 3-4 of us, and we'll run heists and get money, and then we'll get on and we'll do some racing, or we'll get together and have a crew night, and we'll go to the casino and just goof off and have a good time.
Yes,
it's a lot of fun.
The problem with that is Brandon has a lot of cars and a lot of expensive cars, and Brandon plays online with these fucking maniacs who decide, I'm gonna blow your car up.
Well, that's why they have that,
because it's there.
They have that setting though,
that's
where
why the insurance is there.
Yeah.
Well, don't they have that setting where you can turn that off?
That the cops
you can go passive.
It was literally your fault. They weren't chasing us until you decided to randomly shoot people out. No, not shoot people. That's a lie. Throw sticky bombs out of the car. Again,
is that not what you're supposed to do?
But no, it's not my fault that when I got out of the car for the cops to chase me, they decided, nah, let's chase the black car.
Because it was the car that they don't care who threw it out of the car. They couldn't see who threw it out of the car. We was moving way too fast for that. But it was still my car.
I'm just saying.
That got impacted, by the way.
It's not my fault.
And then I had to pay the fee to get it out of the impound.
I was literally shooting.
You actually had to pay a fee?
Yes, I have to. My insurance. I have to pay a fee. I have a lot of
just hop the fence.
I'm not doing that. That's even worse. No, see, y'all costing me money. I'm done talking about that. Like, I have lost so much money playing with these fools in my cars that I don't use any of them anymore. Like, I'll get a free car and I'll use that before I use my car.
It got so bad that the only time we drive together is if I got my tank out and we all got in that.
Yeah, I'm not taking my car on no more. I'm not doing it.
The orange tank.
Hey, don't be knocking it.
It's an armored transport
rocket
vehicle.
Blasts in that machine. Remember that?
Well,
Brandon, you died. That's
by the way, you and Matt.
Here's the thing. I didn't think Matt was gonna shoot the damn rocket at the car.
It's Matt. Yes, he is.
It's Matt. Of course he's gonna shoot.
You just have to assume chaos is going to break out with Matt, okay?
You guys,
nothing goes according to plan.
Literally and then I'm like, hey, come pick me up. You bring the police with you in a car that's about to blow up. Like, I'm not all of you, like every time.
This is exactly why I agree with Slaughter the Assassin. You should stream all of you playing this game when this comes out. That is the plan. We're trying to figure out the streaming technicalities with some of this. We're going to try and we've been recording a little bit. Unfortunately, we're not probably going to be able to do it live very easily unless we figure something out, but that is something we want to continue to do, and GTA 6 is definitely something I want to stream.
or
at least video games where we can record it and release videos of it at least, for sure. But that's something
I just hope it's crossplay because I would love to play with y'all.
I thought it was supposed to be.
I think this was
it should be.
If it is, yeah, we're down. I'm down.
Y'all drove me insane. Like, so much money. And then the thing is,
let it go.
I'm trying to get you guys to get money, and then 10 minutes into a mission, one of you just randomly goes off and shoots somebody that's not even a part of it. So now all hell breaks loose, and I'm like, we're not doing this. We're just not. We started out trying to do it, but then every time. And then in the background, I got you giggling because either you or Matt or Aaron decided he was going to do it.
I just giggle because I like watching Brandon's blood pressure go up. hilarious to me. I
Make
don't
me
know
so
why.
mad.
Because I
So
stress him
mad.
out so much. He's just like, get
You
over
guys
here
are
now.
lucky. You guys are lucky I'm a heavy sleeper because the amount of yelling that he does, I sleep right through it, luckily.
He's going,
But I
she's
know.
like, who the hell is he yelling? Oh, it's just the guys.
Yeah. So angry. So angry.
I mean, I get it. I mean, we're stressful to be around. Me and Matt especially.
Oh my god.
That's an understatement.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, Brandon.
But like we have so much fucking fun though. Like
Oh, yeah,
at the
we
end of
do.
the day, it is
One of these days, we're going to get the technicalities figured out here. It's just the technical issues we've been having just trying to do this gaming stuff. I'm working on it. Give me some time. But yeah, one of these days, I'd love to put out at least some videos. If it can't go live, that's fine. But I'd love to put out some gaming content.
Yeah, Horton, I would love to see the chaos that goes on
Oh
in these
my
gaming
God.
because inevitably they go off the rail. Like,
He was there for a little bit of the D&D that one day, but yeah.
Yeah.
Horton would start it. Just saying.
Oh yeah. You think he's going to add to it? He'd be right there in the middle of it.
I thought, okay,
I'll
I'd
be
have
out in the
Jackson
street
and Jaden
tasing
with me.
fools.
I thought my boys would bring some kind of stability, like help me wrangle these. No, because Jackson is an instigator for sure. And he's like, yeah, I'm down to shoot. And immediately does. Jaden is the arbiter of chaos. Jaden is the one who's like, I bet you can't. And then you'll do it and then be like, yeah, see, that's what happens.
Yeah, my family came and visited me at work one night. My 11-year-old started playing GTA 5, and I put him in a closed lobby where he could just run amok. And that kid is hell on wheels. Like once he figured out how, like the gas and the brake wasn't the big thing, but like once he figured out how to shoot,
oh, it's a wrap. It's a
there
wrap.
wasn't anything in that city safe.
No.
Because now it becomes
like
funny.
at the time he was especially obsessed with police officers because he wanted to be a police officer, and he done something and got a warrant on him, and cops started showing up, and he just goes off.
Yeah, because you like freedom. I'm not about to go to jail.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Shoot, I remember when me, Horton, and some of our other friends used to play it. Like we would literally just like take turns and see who could survive the longest with killing the most amount of cops and people. Like put that star level as high as we'll go, and who could stay without dying or getting arrested.
The goal, if you get 2 stars, the goal is now to get all 5 because now the military has to show up. Because now I'm not stopping. Like,
yeah, the military shows up. Then you
if
get
I have
sniped from
2
helicopters
stars, it's a wrap because it's just like, well, we'll see how we get this going. Like the one time Jaden and Jackson was playing with Matt, they started robbing convenience stores. Like Matt would go into the convenience store, rob the store, and Jackson was the getaway driver. I go, what are you two doing? And all I see is the car go flying over a hill, and Jackson goes, nothing. We'll be back in a minute. And then it was a trail of cop cars, and I was like, all right.
That's awesome,
man. We got to get them on this as long as we can keep it PG. We have to get them on the streams too.
Jackson was like, nothing. We'll be back in a minute, and just
Jackson will kill me on Call of Duty
on sight.
Murders me.
Speaking of Call of Duty, I seen that the Ninja Turtles are going to be in Call of Duty.
I saw that.
Yeah, I saw it.
They already had the John
and
Cena.
we have jumped the shark.
Yeah, well, I mean, throwing stars could be fun. You know,
some of it, like some of the collaborations were cool, but like there comes a point where it's like, all right, enough is enough. Like,
but I'll tell you right now,
just be Fortnite if that's the case.
It's trying to keep. I would say it's trying to keep up with Fortnite.
But Fortnite, it fits. It fits for a game like Fortnite. You know what I mean?
I was just about to say it's trying to become Fortnite.
God.
But I'll tell you right now, which I mean, I got the game because Brandon bought it, but I'm not gonna lie, I'd buy the Turtles.
Why? You never play any fucking way. Like
because I'm a geek like that. That's why. I mean,
it's for when he does play, Brandon. Maybe he plays in his leisure.
If they had the
time
Turtles, I'd probably jump on and play more.
Yeah, that's a lie, and we both know it. Because when it was the WWE fans, I was like, "Oh, look," and you were like, "Oh, that's cool." And never.
I tried it, but you know, there are times like sometimes Brandon does this thing where it's like he'll play a game for a month or so, then he'll get tired of it and move on to the next thing. So
that's called ADHD.
Yeah.
Well,
like, I keep trying to tell y'all, like, I try to play games that, like, okay, this is your strength in this area, and then we'll play this, see if you can play this. I knew Call of Duty was going to be a learning curve for Eric. And I thought, okay, if nothing else, I'll get a couple laughs out of it. And then after a while, like that
funny,
game we played where literally there's a guy standing in front of him and Eric hip fires and runs towards him, which is a quick way to die. I knew at that point,
I don't know.
This isn't for Eric. You know what I mean?
Because
like,
where I got my gaming skills when it comes to fights like this is from GoldenEye on Nintendo 64, where you literally could just run up somebody and shoot him. This is more intricate than that. So,
big time.
Big time.
You know, the issue was the other guy knew how to aim, and that's exactly what he did. Because
so see, I was always playing Black Ops 2. I was always considered the designated decoy, where there would be a sniper off this way, and they'd be like, "We know he's over there, but where's he at? Horton, why don't you run out there and find out where he's at?" And I'd run out there.
Boom, get smoked.
Be like, "Oh yeah, he's over there."
Headshot. Yeah. I mean, they don't do that to me, but I remember that one time. I think it was Call of Duty. It was either that or Battlefield. One of the two. Remember when you were like in front of me and somebody dropped down and killed you, and I lost it?
Okay. This was his saving. This was his first heroic moment.
Not my finest moment language-wise, but
it was Call of Duty, and we were playing Warzone. I didn't play Warzone that much. Warzone had just came out, and I was like, I'll give it a shot. It was trios. It was me, him, and another friend of ours, and we decided to play. Now, Eric is saying that I don't really play shooters like that, but whatever. This will be fun.
Came through the clutch here.
We parachute in. We drop. We get a loadout. As I turn around, there's another person there who just murders me because I have no gun. Eric somehow got a gun, comes out of the building after I'm getting shot and go, "You mother!" runs forward and just unloads on this.
Oh yeah, I murdered this fool.
Not only with the gun, but verbally.
Verbally,
like I said, not my shiningest moment.
We didn't say anything. It was just quiet.
I was seeing red. I lost it. I don't know why. I was just like,
I don't know if he had some shit. I don't know if he had some stuff to get off his chest that day.
Ooh, that was a rough day.
Buddy got it. Like he yelled at him. And there's a 30-second window when somebody dies that you can hear the other person talking. So I'm pretty sure there's a 30-second thing where you just hear, "You mother."
Yeah.
Anyway. Then he picked me up, and then
I'm good for one save every now and then, even though he died.
And then we died.
Yeah,
and then we all died like 20 seconds after that. Like the circle was too close. It was bad. But
this is why I'm so glad that I'm too old to be drafted. I'll tell you that right now, because this will not go well. I'll tell you that for certain.
He felt so good for something.
Yeah. He had his moment.
I had my moment. That's maybe the only one, but that's all right.
But then him running towards a dude who knew how to aim was hilarious. Like we watched the kill cam. Like Eric did not hit this dude at all. Like
I'm the guy that's spinning around in circles in the corner while the guy walks back and goes, "Oh, that's cute," and then shoots me right in the head. It's one of those
he's new. Bless his heart.
He's trying so hard. He must be 5 years old. Wait, he's 40? That'll beat his ass.
So
that's the 5-year-old that murked you.
Yeah,
this was the second one with Eric. We were playing with a group of friends, so it's all of us in a private match, right? I see Eric, and Eric is trying to figure things out. I throw a flashbang, which I know what it does to his screen. He can't see anything.
No.
He immediately lays on the ground for whatever reason.
I didn't even know if I did it.
And I run up to him, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's facing the wall at this point because he's turned around because he couldn't see anything. So he's facing the wall, laying flat on his stomach. And I go, "What are you doing?" He goes, "What? Huh? Where are you?" And he goes to turn. So I just move so he can't see me. And I'm standing right behind him. And he goes, "Where'd you go?" And I go, "All right, screw this." And I just execute him because I'm not doing this for you.
And Horton can attest to this. I used to be a decent video game player. I don't know what happened. Like, I think part of it is I don't do it as often as I used to anymore.
The skills just fell off, man.
After 22, 23, it was just gone. Like,
you want to know
now, Madden? I'll kick all y'all asses.
You got it in that.
No, you won't.
All you do is run streaks.
Wow.
It worked.
All I gotta do is do like triple coverage. I got you.
The one
Now,
humbling moment
maybe
for
not
me
then.
in video games was not too long ago. Jackson was popping his gums, and he said he could beat me in a 1v1 in Call of Duty. Now, look, I've been playing Call of Duty a long time, and I'm like, no shot, kid. But he kept running his mouth, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. When I tell you, not only did he beat me, but he humiliated me the whole time he was doing it. The whole time he was talking trash about my age, mind you. My reflexes ain't what they used to be. Like, he read me.
He got in your head.
And then to the point to where like I wasn't trying to be funny no more. Like, I'm really trying to beat this kid, and I lost by a lot.
You tried too hard.
Yeah, I let him win in the aspect of like he got in my head.
Let him win.
Yeah.
Let him win.
And I didn't challenge him again after that because I was like, I'm not about to embarrass myself twice. That's crazy.
Yeah.
My oldest, he was talking smack on Mario Kart one day. We've got the actual Mario Kart 64.
Ooh,
and
good game.
He's got the Switch, so he's got Mario Kart 8. Right? So we're playing Mario Kart 64, and I am just mopping the floor with this kid. Right?
Yeah, you got that little joystick in the middle. If you ain't got it, you ain't got it. Like, you gotta have your thumb game.
So he starts talking trash about how he could get me on Mario Kart 8, and I'm like,
I'm still good at that game.
So like I'd never played it before, so I was like, give me a warm-up race because I've never played. He's like, okay. So I got the warm-up race so I could figure out the controls and figure out what I needed to do, and proceeded to walk the dog with him on that one too. So I was like,
I have never seen my nephew so angry than when I beat him in Mario Kart. Like, he because he's the big gamer now. Like he's that age.
Right.
That and Lego Clone Wars, we got into like a battle royale against one another, and he was used to just smoking. I don't know if it was CPUs or other users or what, and I wasn't smoking him or anything, but I was holding my own where he couldn't beat me, and he got so frustrated he ended up like wanting to rage quit.
Rage quitting.
Yeah. So
nice.
But it was kind of a proud moment. Like, I gotta teach the young and how it is.
Don't get me wrong. I've never been the proponent of
he learned from
letting my kids win. Like, I don't know. I'm too competitive for that shit. But in all the games that I've played with my kids, I would play with them like I'm playing with anybody else. Like, I'm not gonna just give you a win because you're my kid. And like, I remember when Jaden started playing Black Ops with me, and like me and my friends, and they would be like, "Yo," I'm like, "No, if you see him, shoot him." Like, I don't. What's he gonna do? Get upset and not play? That's on him. Like, loss is a loss. Like, that's the only way he's gonna get better. To where Jaden got so damn good at the damn game that he was beating them. And then they were doing the whole thing of like, all right, I'm not trying to let this kid win, but I'm still losing. You know what I mean? To where now Jaden is hard fought. Like, me and him, we battled a couple times in a couple different games, and he got me a couple times. And I'm like, all right, kid, hey.
When I left you, I was but the loader. Now I am the master. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a proponent of like even when I was playing games with Miranda. You think I let her win? No. She fucking beat me.
But I did.
Whatever.
What game was this? Madden?
Madden?
You ain't very good at Madden, no offense.
Hey, why don't you shut your mouth? How about you try that?
Just gotta keep practicing.
Brandon ain't really good on a lot of things.
Okay, first of all, who are you to chime in? I
Moving
on one time because he played a cheap character, and now all of a sudden I ain't shit.
Yeah.
That's not the first time you've lost to Shaitan.
That is the first time I lost to Shaitan.
Yeah, in a game. But remember when you're like, Shaitan was like, I can fight you and win, and you guys did that wrestle, that pseudo wrestle, and you pulled your back.
Because I'm old, I can't be doing that.
Who's the one that challenged a 26-year-old?
And I did slam him. I hurt myself in the process, but I dropped his monkey ass.
Oh yeah, you did that at work, if I'm not mistaken.
No, that was in my backyard.
Oh, you hoisted him up, or he hoisted you up. I don't know,
oh yeah, he did hoist me up, and I was like, if you don't put me down, we both going to the hospital.
Yeah, this is not going to be good. Work was comp. But anyway, all right. Well, speaking of Madden, let's transition out of that. Let's get to roll. We still got some more stuff to get into. Let's get into sports. You're good. Before we get into some NFL talk, we do have a little bit of a a side thing here with Horton being on the show
Side
tonight.
quest.
Side quest. Thought I'd let him talk a little bit about the upcoming big race on Sunday afternoon. That is, of course, the Daytona 500 on Sunday, February 16th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fox. And, of course, it's obviously the big annual race that kicks off the NASCAR season. And, of course, this year starting out on the pole is none other than Mitchell, Indiana's own Chase Briscoe. Mitchell, Indiana is where me and Horton grew up and went to school. So definitely good to see the hometown native here get the pole start. So, Horton, why don't you just go ahead and talk to us about this? I know you're a big race fan.
The noisy neighbor kid.
Yeah.
And we call him that because literally, like, it was mom and dad's. It was their trailer place where his dad and his grandpa sold mobile homes, and it was their house.
That
So it was just
same
bang, bang, bang.
family. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's same family. Yeah. So his dad Richard his grandpa Richard was the one that pretty much owned it, really. And then he owned the sprint car that Kevin drove, Chase's dad.
Okay.
So he's kind of the reason why the whole Briscoe racing thing is even a thing.
That's awesome.
So, but yeah, that's how we always knew it was springtime, because we'd be sitting in the house and all of a sudden you'd hear Kevin fire up a sprint car. It's like, all right, here we go, springtime.
Time to go racing.
So, and it was really cool. I mean, and they're, you hear a lot of people to say, well, Chase bought that ride. Blah, but no, Chase did not buy that ride. Like he worked his butt off for it, and like his family are just the nicest individuals you could ever ask to be around. I mean, they're good, God-fearing folks, and I couldn't be happier to see all this stuff happen. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're tremendously proud of Chase.
A lot of people in the area are,
especially. Oh yeah, absolutely. Kind of bummed he went with a Toyota after leaving Ford, but can't win them all.
Right,
but
right.
From the looks of things, he's got some good equipment under him this year. So hopefully he'll have a good showing this year, and right off the bat, racking off a pole position for the Daytona 500, the first Toyota to sit on the pole for the Daytona 500.
No kidding.
Fun fact. Yep.
Wow.
So, it's
knocking
it's
Toyota,
Daytona,
and there they go.
It's a super speedway. Yeah, I mean it's Daytona. It's a super speedway, so anything and everything can happen. It's anybody's race, really. You just gotta right place, right time.
Well, it's one of those things too. I mean, Horton kind of got me into NASCAR a little bit too, obviously, because he's been a fan all his life. As a guy who hasn't watched NASCAR in a few years, I know a lot of the drivers I used to watch are kind of retiring a bit here and there now at this point. So it's nice for me, especially since I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I know some of them still, but a lot of the new drivers I don't know. But since I know of Chase Briscoe and he grew up where I grew up, it's kind of one of those deals where I'm kind of, he's my favorite driver now. So kind of, even though I don't watch it as much, I would root for him over anybody else.
Same here. Like, honestly, after I was a Jeff Gordon fan. Still am. Always have been, always will be. I've taken a lot of crap for that, but I don't care. I just don't. But when he retired, and then Earnhardt Jr. retired, and a lot of the guys that I grew up watching were retiring, I just kind of started losing interest in it. I'd watch the big races. I'd watch Daytona. I'd watch Bristol. I'd watch Indy. But at the same time, now that I have somebody that I know more or less, a local kid. I say kid. He's pushing 30.
Right.
But now that I actually kind of have like a vested interest in it, it's really, I'm hoping it'll be more fun to watch. And when he went to Stewart-Haas, that's when Harvick was there, and I don't think that he was getting the best of the equipment. And obviously he's not, because he wasn't a tenured driver. he wasn't the top dog. That's what that was Harvick. That was the other. I think Kurt Busch might have been in there too. But I think now that he's gone over to Gibbs, I think he's going to have a lot better equipment, and hopefully he'll have a lot better showing this year.
Let's hope so. And I'm going to always pull for him to win the championship, which I always thought would be really awesome. But I don't know how close he is to that at this point in his career, but still be great to see. No doubt.
Well, I mean,
that's a long ways off though.
Well,
this season, so
yeah, and I mean, don't get me started with the whole Chase thing.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. Well, I'm still kind of like
purist.
I've not watched it much since they started doing the heats. Each race, like
stage racing.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how I feel about that still, but I'm sure a lot of race fans have gotten used to it at this point.
I would like to get into watching some races. Like I've watched the last
road courses are fun on
the
TV.
Indy, the Indy when you guys were there or when Horton was there. I watched the last of that race and I was like, I got really into it. Like but it was like the last 30-some laps or whatever it was where I picked up watching it.
That's basically where the biggest part of the Indy 500 happens anyway.
Yeah, and I was thoroughly I was thoroughly entertained and I was locked in on a driver. So, and the one who won actually, and I was like invested in this race at that point. But I wouldn't mind getting into and watching some races.
It's definitely worth it. Like I said, NASCAR. I mean, yeah, everybody's like, well, all they're doing is making the left turns. Yeah, but you know what? There's more to it than just that. I mean, there's strategy involved.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of luck involved, too. If your car breaks or there's an accident that happens in front of you, can't, avoid and things like that. Plus, like I said, the road courses are really cool because obviously they go left and right and hills and, sharp turns. So there's a lot more involved in it. But, yeah, I mean, once you watch it, the more you do with the pit crews and stuff, you start to realize more of the strategy that goes involved with it. Like if you were just a random fan who just picked up football one day, you'd be like, why do they pause all the time and huddle after every play? Why don't they just go? Then once you realize there's actually strategy and play formations and stuff, there's formations and plays and stuff like you can pull while racing too, like different maneuvers and stuff. So, things like that. Once you learn all that, it kind of makes it more interesting in my opinion. So,
oh yeah,
and even some
absolutely.
of that,
and I mean, it's a good thing to start local too. Like hit the local dirt tracks and stuff like that. So you could at least, it's not the exact same thing, but you could at least get an understanding.
I didn't know if Aaron was going to say so. He unpaused there for a second. I didn't know if he was going to say anything or not. But anyway. Guess not. Got the kiddos he's got to worry about there too. So, all right, well, let's move on to the main portion of the sports topic here, and then we'll move on to politics and call it a night. But obviously, the big thing in the world of sports this week was Super Bowl 59. The Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22.
Thank God.
But this game was never even that close. If you watch the game, you know this. Patrick Mahomes. First touchdown came when they were down 34-0. His second touchdown came when they were down 40-6. So, by the way, his third touchdown came after Nick Sirianni, the Eagles head coach, already got a Gatorade bath for winning the game. So it was one of the worst performances for a quarterback in Super Bowl history. Empty calorie stats will not change that fact. The Chiefs did what I said they needed to do, though, and they kept Saquon Barkley in check, but it really did not matter at the end of the day here. The Eagles defense stifled the Chiefs offense, and the eventual Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts came alive with his receivers to dominate the game. So yeah, there's all that. It looked like I must have missed a few things here, but anyway. So yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on this game? About the blowout that was? It wasn't even close. Not even close at all.
That game was crazy.
Yeah,
man,
rather insane, to be quite honest with you. And to be fair, it was. I don't know why, but it was every single year though. The Super Bowl is the most watched Super Bowl ever, and this year was no different. With 127.7 million viewers watched that crap of a game. But I mean, it's obviously a spectacle, no matter how bad.
I just enjoyed watching the meltdown of the Chiefs fans on my Facebook page. That was
like this when it kicked off, right? And the Eagles went 3-and-out, and then the Chiefs went 3-and-out. I'm like, okay, they got that going. Like they got that feel out play going. Like now football's about to start. When the Eagles scored, we celebrated, obviously. But then I'm like, okay, Chiefs are going to Chief. They're going to march down the field. Touchdown, 7-7. I'm thinking by halftime, it'll probably be like a 1-score game or maybe a field goal. Like, that's how close I thought this game was going to be.
Yeah.
There is no one who thought that by halftime, the score would be 30. Was it 30? Was it 36?
I don't know about
I think it was 32.
32.
It was not good. Let's put it that way.
To nothing. Yeah. No one thought that. And I was sitting there like, there's no shot that this game is in. To see Patrick get sacked as many times as he got sacked, not only did he get sacked, he got strip sacked. And it was like, yo, what is happening to this team?
Yeah, which I'm going to talk about here in just a second a little bit, too, about why that may have happened for certain. But, yeah.
Man.
But before we do that, though, Jalen Hurts obviously celebrated after the game with a big old cigar and got to sit with the Lombardi for certain. So he definitely earned it. And like I said, they shut down Barkley, but it didn't matter. Saquon or like we said on the podcast last week,
they had more than one target.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing. But Barkley has been kind of the one who's carried the offense for the most part this year. Mm-hmm. That's not to say that the wide receivers or Hurts is bad. Hurts and the wide receivers stepped up when they needed to, and that's all that matters.
No, they went into this game knowing that Saquon was going to be shut down. Like they knew that.
Well, you know they wrote a target,
and they had a plan. But like it's like y'all forgot that he has AJ Brown. Y'all forgot that he has who is it?
Devontae Smith. Yeah.
You also forgot that he's Jalen Hurts and he can run the ball. So like they were so worried about stopping one aspect of the Eagles because they just probably saw him as that aspect because they won a lot of
rightfully
games.
So, but
with Saquon, like, but again, he still had all these other. He didn't have Saquon the last 2 times they made it to the championships and the one time they made it to the Super Bowl. Like he didn't have him then.
They lost that game, but yes,
but they still got there without Saquon.
Of course, yeah.
And it's like, but the guys that he had then in those games were closer then too.
Yeah,
they weren't this for sure.
Yeah.
So
speaking of the Eagles' offense, even without Saquon or with Saquon, they are the ones who scored the most points in a single postseason with 145 points in NFL history. So,
jeez,
that's a lot of offensive points right there. 145.
Ass this season, like last.
Yeah.
Season.
So this was a
they could have beat the Lakers with that score.
Yeah. And only a few quarterbacks have ever beaten Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Right now, it's only 3: Tom Brady twice, Joe Burrow, and now Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl. So, Mahomes does not lose in the playoffs often, but when it does happen, those teams usually go on to be successful outside of Joe Burrow. Unfortunately, that year he got beat. Yeah, exactly. Well, comeback player of the year, Joe Burrow, for sure. But let's take a look at something here. I wanted to point out to you a little bit, if I could find the right video. Okay. So, Travis Kelce. All right. Let's watch a couple. I know, but let's watch a couple plays here. Travis Kelce's at the bottom of your screen on the bottom right here. Okay, in this particular play. Watch this play. Mahomes scrambles for his life. And Kelce, even though he's covered, doesn't make a bit of an effort to try to get open and help his quarterback out. Watch this. All right. So, I'm sorry. He's right here. My bad. Number 87. But look, he's just standing there. Not trying to even get open at all. Like, where's the effort? At all.
Oh, that was weird.
There is none.
That was weird.
He literally stands there and just puts his arms out like, what? Doesn't even move. Wouldn't you be scrambling around to try to get open for your quarterback at that point?
Yeah.
I would think so.
Good job, Pfizer boy.
Or how about? Hold on. Let's go. Let's find the right. It kind of got a little messed up. All right. Here's another one. Don't spoil stuff, Aaron. But anyway, so here's Travis Kelce, and this guy I want to let talk a little bit because this TikToker breaks down the lack of effort of Travis Kelce. Listen to this.
Look, I'm a massive Travis Kelce fan. I've got videos on this page calling him the greatest tight end of all time. But last night, bro, might have been the worst game of his career. Sometimes it's just time to call it quits. Let's zoom out on this play here. The Chiefs are in a tight formation. Travis Kelce's job on this play is to almost stunt Josh Sweat. You're going to block him for a second and then release, and just enough time to allow Creed Humphrey, the center, number 52, to loop around and take care of him. But, yeah, let's just say it doesn't quite go that way. Right here as the ball is snapped, watch as the entire offense is moving. Even one more little click here, and the entire offense is moving. Travis Kelce hasn't even gotten out of his break yet, man. And he's supposed to chip Josh Sweat. Doesn't even get a fucking finger on him. Mahomes is completely dead. The play's dead. Here the Chiefs.
So that play right there was the whole reason that Mahomes got sacked. The whole reason.
Oh
now let's watch this
God.
next play here, where he runs into his running back and then causes his running back to potentially lose yardage.
You're going to be running zone split. And Travis Kelce is the split blocker. His job is to get all the way around and take care of Josh Sweat. Just to put this into context here, Kareem Hunt, already not a fast back. Travis Kelce has to haul his ass over on the other side of the ball to block Josh Sweat. Not only does he run into his running back, might be the most pathetic fucking block attempt I've seen in my life.
Oh my God.
That's just bad. I understand if we zoom out a little bit, the play is already dead, right? He's got two, a linebacker and a safety in a hole. Still not a good look. I understand Travis Kelce, not the epitome of a great blocker, but even as a receiver in this game, man, I mean, some of these routes are just not good. He's just not cutting the way that he used to. And I mean, I understand he's 30 years old, but at this point, he's a net negative out there for the Chiefs offense. I mean, on top of some really horrible routes, some absolutely terrible blocking execution, and being the last to get out of the stance fairly consistently, it's time to leave the game.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree. I mean, that if that's the best you could do in the freaking Super Bowl with your, Taylor Swift.
hang it up.
Already, yeah, exactly. That's the best you got. I mean, if I'm a head coach, I'm cutting him after that. Especially when you almost pushed the head coach down in the Super Bowl last year on the sideline. I mean, if I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm not thrilled with Travis Kelce right now. Just me personally.
Oh, they still will be.
I mean, I don't know what will happen to him at the end of this season, but this was a bad game by the Chiefs. Well, and here's the thing.
To retire, nothing. He'll be there next year. If he does not retire this year, he'll be there next year.
Well, and here's the thing. It was ironically what you'd expect to happen when a team who's been helped all year long by referee calls, and then the refs decide to call a game fairly against a team who's been good all year long. The Chiefs simply got exposed here. That's what happened.
Ta-da!
You know what the moral of the story is? Don't steal things. I guess the Chiefs were paying the refs with USAID money. That's just the way I see it. But anyway, just maybe
I
not
said
do that.
this shit earlier.
Makes me wonder if Trump needs to go to all their games.
Did you see the woman who was so mad that she was like screaming, like, the reason why the Chiefs lost is because Trump showed up? I'm like, that had nothing to do with it.
No. The Chiefs were
the refs were probably afraid. The refs were afraid to give bad calls because he would have called their asses out right there.
I
don't know, maybe.
Literally, they weren't playing good all year. They weren't.
And anybody who watched the Chiefs knows, if you're honest with yourself, knows they won a lot of games they probably shouldn't have won. What they say, 12 games or so by less than a touchdown or something like that.
Yeah.
So that could have easily been a 5-win Chiefs team for 2024. So if that were if just a couple calls had gone against them, they would have never even been anywhere close to the playoffs, let alone Super Bowl. And that showed on the field last Sunday. That's what happened.
This was so bizarre.
Yeah.
The way
I'm a hockey fan, and I can see that.
It got to a point to where we were watching the game, and I'm like, this isn't even worth watching any fucking more. Like, it really is not. Like,
it was almost uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was like.
No, I was enjoying it because like I said, I'm no Chiefs fan. I mean, I feel bad for the people who do love the Chiefs that they had to sit through that. But and especially as Slara said in the chat, anyone who paid to be in that stadium got ripped off.
For sure.
Big time.
$10,000, $11,000 seats. That sucks. But it was not a good game, but I mean, it's always a spectacle. Like I said, people watch it for other reasons than just the game alone. But
dude, but the main reason you're going there is because of the game.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
The Kansas City Chiefs. You think that no one thought this game was going to end or be played out the way it was played out.
No, they thought it would at least be closer, far closer. And like I said, the fact that it ended up being 40-22 was not, the game was never that close.
No.
Ever. So.
Right before we went live, I seen that there was a shooting at the parade in Philadelphia.
I heard about that. It happened earlier on, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was like a terrorist thing. I think it was like a group of people shooting at each other. Like, I don't know, it was like a gang thing. Yeah, something like that. So hopefully everybody's okay there. Thoughts and prayers for sure. But yeah, I don't know what it is. But maybe the Super Bowl parades just need to stop happening at this point. Unfortunately,
why can't we have nice things?
I know we can't ever have anything nice for sure. But yeah, sucks for the Chiefs fans for sure. I know there's some good ones out there, but at the same time, it's like, you know, if you watch your team, honestly, you got to admit that it just kind of finally, you know, came to fruition. You know,
caught up with them.
Yeah, caught up with them. That's a good word for it. Yeah. But as for the rest of the league, I thought this offseason maybe we just kind of touch on some news and stuff during the offseason to kind of keep the NFL a little bit on the show here and there. And obviously now we have the official complete NFL draft order. So if anybody is curious where your team is standing in regards to the 2025 NFL draft coming to you from Green Bay this year, there is the list, obviously. And now there's rumors going around that apparently the Tennessee Titans are potentially in the market for trading the first round pick. Their number 1 overall pick. So we'll see if that ends up happening or not. But as of right now, it is a rumor. But yeah, thoughts on the NFL draft order. And like I said, we've talked about the Colts at nauseum at pick 14. But
nobody fucking useful.
That's how you really feel, Brandon. Jeez. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, looking forward to it.
What am I supposed to think? You think we're gonna make a good fucking decision here?
I know. I mean, draft's 2 months away. The combine should be starting at any time, and then of course free agency will hit in March. So there will be things to talk about. But so yeah, we might keep.
I did see earlier today where a couple of players from IU received invites to the combine.
Oh, okay. Cool deal.
I just caught the headline. I didn't see who it was, but
yeah, I'm interested to see how that IU team looks next year too. You can't expect them to be that good every year. So hopefully they'll be able to keep that.
Gotta be realistic.
They're going to lose some players. They're going to gain some too. So I'll be interested to see how it goes. But yeah, I'm excited for
Travis Hunter's going in as a cornerback.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, to the combine. So
okay, cool deal. When it comes to the rest of the news in the NFL this week, though, apparently the Jets have officially informed Aaron Rodgers in a meeting this week that they will be moving on from him as well. So his time with the Jets is over. Now, if his time with the Jets is over, does this mean Aaron Rodgers' career is officially over and is he going looking at retirement now? Or is it somebody else picking him up? You think so?
Time to go sit in a tent and do more drugs.
Like, honestly.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's exactly what he does.
Ayahuasca.
Yeah, he goes on these vision quests and shit. It's crazy.
Really, I didn't know that.
Dude, you do not know that Aaron Rodgers? Yeah.
I'm not a big football guy.
He's not the only one in the league that does this either. Like, there's quite a few guys.
He shares your namesake, Aaron. You should know.
Yeah, Aaron.
You think I just know everybody named Aaron?
Yes. I know all the Erics at work. You should know all the Aarons.
Be insane.
Did you guys get like a newsletter or something? Is that how it works?
Yeah, we're in a group chat.
Is it an AA group chat?
Oh,
AA Ron?
No, nothing. No, like I think Aaron should look. Don't do the thing where you stay too long and you tarnish your legacy.
He might be already too late for that.
Exactly.
I think that you just you go now.
Yeah, do it now.
Like, was it last year before when he went out in the first play of the first game?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, bad injury, but yeah,
but,
it wasn't bad.
Okay. I can understand the reason to come back because, like, look,
you don't want to go out that way,
and like that was some freak accident type shit. But like after this year, let it go.
Hang it up, man.
You can only blame the roster for so long before it's like, I don't know. I think it's a little bit more than that because like the games you didn't play and they put the rookie in, they actually look.
But here's the thing: they had solid receivers and a good running back. There was really maybe the offensive line was a little stuff, but there was no reason they should have been a bad offense this year. None. So that whole argument to me doesn't hold much weight. But
who do you blame?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it was like the offensive coordinator. I don't know who it is. I really don't. It's probably just his age catching up to him. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
And there were some games he did okay in, but it wasn't like good.
But again, as you get older, it gets harder and harder to summon up that quality.
Yeah.
You're not going to do it
And
consistently.
it's more difficult to evolve your game with the game that's being played.
Yeah, these guys are younger, faster, stronger.
Younger,
Exactly.
faster, stronger. Anyway.
I mean, being like honest, like you got to know when look, every man goes through this. It comes a time in your life where it's not you, bro. Like, it's just age. You can't do what you used to.
Your mind's still 20, but your body says,
Yeah, you got to hit that reality.
You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Pretty much.
And like I said, don't kill your legacy by continuing to drag this out. Like,
there's a great commentary spot for him somewhere, or something like that.
Something like that, but
he'll be more of a regular on the Pat McAfee show.
He'll
most likely.
He'll start his own podcast.
Yeah, something. Yeah. I don't know what, but yeah.
But I don't. Yeah, I think.
I'll tell you right now though, if he ends up in a Minnesota Vikings gear, that's going to be because it's like you just followed Brett Favre's footsteps. Is that what you're doing now? Like, like.
Look, listen. Let's hope he retires because I don't.
I hear he's coming out of retirement.
Who, Brett Favre?
Brett Favre?
Yeah.
Not now. Maybe back when he was waffling all the time.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
I know, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised the way he was waffling on retirement for so long.
But like I'm saying, like, I hope he retires because if not, he's going to end up in Indianapolis, and I'm not okay with it.
Shh, you stop. No, he will not end up in Indianapolis. If he ends up in Indianapolis, I may have to,
No, listen, not if Jim Irsay.
You're not going to jump ship.
It'd be awful close. Because boys, based on their situation, it'd be the dumbest move they could do.
Again, my statement still remains.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
We have Phillip fucking Rivers.
Yeah, but that was before they actually invested in the young kid. Now that you've done it, either you stick with him or move on, but don't go backwards, in my opinion. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, as for the rest of the NFL, a few other news items that we hit real quick. The New Orleans Saints finally have their head coach, so now all the head coaching positions have been filled. The Eagles offensive coordinator, who just won a Super Bowl, will now be taking over the head coaching job. Kellen Moore is now the head coach of the Saints. Hopefully that'll improve
Kellen
the offense.
Moore, that name sounds familiar.
At one point, I think he was with the Dallas Cowboys as well. But most recently with the Eagles.
The Cowboys, jeez.
No,
Hopefully
Kellen Moore. Did he play for Indiana?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Ask. All I know is I hope it goes better for the Saints than it has for the Colts because the Colts has hired the last two Eagles offensive coordinators, and it did not go so well for us lately. So I hope it's better for him or for them than it is for us. And we could have had Nick Sirianni, who was a Colts coordinator at one point, and now he's the head coach of the Eagles, and he won a Super Bowl. So there you go. He played college football for Boise State.
I don't know what the hell I was thinking then.
He played for the Detroit Lions, looks like. Yeah.
No, I had it in my head that he played at Indiana. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody. I must be thinking of somebody else.
Oh, he also played for the Cowboys a little bit too. But yeah, I remember him as a backup or something to that effect. So, but yeah, either way, great job with the offense this year with Philadelphia. Well, that don't always translate to the head coaching position, so we'll see how that goes for sure. But good for the Saints for getting their role. Also, we got a big release. The Miami Dolphins released former Pro Bowl running back Raheem Mostert, clearing $2.9 million in cap space, and it looks like now Devon Achane will be the starting running back of the Miami Dolphins moving forward for the time being, at least till the draft. So, yeah, so we got some movers already starting to happen in the NFL a little bit. We'll see if he ends up landing somewhere or if he just ends up fading into NFL obscurity for sure. Last thing on the NFL I thought we'd talk about is, remember how we talked about how the Super Bowl logo will kind of define who maybe the Super Bowl contenders will be next year? Well, the NFL may have heard us because now they've changed the script and they've added all sorts of colors to the new logo. And now it's like, good luck figuring out who the teams are going to be now based on that conspiracy theory. So, yeah, who do you think are the Super Bowl contenders now with all these possibilities here? And again, I don't see the Colts listed there, even though there is a lot of blue in that.
Kansas City and the Eagles, they're going to run it back.
So the NFL's like, predict it now, a-holes. So, yeah. So,
The team with the most gay players.
What the frack? I know the NFL said they're not going to get away from their DEI stuff, but, I mean, maybe, who knows? Maybe you're right, but, yeah.
I mean, Cowboys fans are always saying maybe next year.
That's wild.
No.
Nate, if you're watching, I'm sorry. Horton, apologize. Hell, apologize to Slara in the chat. She's a Cowboys fan, too. So there you go.
Honestly, I have no dog in the fight, Jill. You know that.
I know.
I just like riling people up.
Right. Cowboys fans have been through it, son.
According to Michael Parsons, they got it.
Yeah.
So
the Eagles once thought that too with the dream team.
Yeah.
You know, I will say that, you know, the diehard Cowboys fans. All right.
You made an enemy, Horton. You made an enemy.
That was
Get in line.
Wild.
Gotta love it.
Said that.
Welcome to the NFL fandom for sure.
Cowboy fans take it.
If I had, it would be different if I had meant it.
Yeah, of course.
He
Yeah,
did,
he's just playing. But yeah,
no, he's not. He's saying what everybody else is saying. Okay, listen, don't blame us. Blame Jerry. Okay, he's the one that makes these dumbass decisions. You want to be mad at
him and Urban both need to go.
Hey, most Cowboys fans will be the first to admit Jerry's the issue. So, you know, I mean, same with Jim Irsay. J&J, Jim and Jerry. They're, you know, it sounds like an ice cream or something. But anyway, yeah. So it sucks. But yeah, that's the NFL for you. So yeah, thoughts on all the NFL stuff?
They need to bounce out, be sitting on a beach in Cancun or something, sipping Mai Tais.
Yeah. We're hitting that point, and I said this when we talked about this before. We're starting to hit that point where all of these old players that you love for what they were, they're getting old.
Yeah.
And they're making way for all these new, younger guys. So this whole thing with Kelsey moving the way he was moving, he's old. Like, it's weird to say, but you're not playing a sport that causes you to get ran into an equivalent of a car crash, you know, for half a year.
Every play.
Yeah, so like, yeah, he's 30-something years old, but I could promise you his body doesn't feel like that.
No, probably not.
So like, you gotta know.
I mean, doing what I've done for 25 years, half the time I'm not moving very quick.
Hell, I'm dude, as much
I think
as
this
I
happens
love
with
wrestling,
age anyway, no matter what. But yeah,
but as much as but hold on, now there's a flip side to that. Just like with wrestling and even professional sports, you keep your body in certain condition the whole time. Yeah, sure, you could still pull it off for a little bit, but like once you slack off, that shit goes to the wayside, dude. Like,
yeah, you gotta stick with it.
In a hurry,
trying to get back into
it. Like it's
not easy getting back in. No, I know that whole.
But like I said, it's a young man's game, brother. Like, look at these guys that are coming out of college into the pros now. This is a young man's sport, and but that's how it works. You got to make room for the old, you know, for the new guys. And some of these guys got to know when to just call it quits. And the NFL will go through that growing pain. Like last year, we had Jaden Daniels, who was on fire, and he's a rookie, just showed up.
Yeah,
that's gonna happen more and more now. Like, because you're gonna get these guys now. These rookies are gonna establish themselves as the old guys, the veterans of the fucking league.
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's you know, it's a constantly rotating door to some degree. For sure. So yeah. Sorry, Mike's texting me on the phone. He's going, need to hit my goodbye comment, guys. I hate to go, but I'm barely staying awake, so I'm hitting the sack. Hope to see you guys next week. Yeah, we should be here next week, I think, is the plan. Horton, good to see you again. Good night, guys. So yeah, good night to see you, Mike.
Have a good night,
you made it to the politics section anyway, so I'm guessing that probably means Horton's going to take out too, or step out as well. I'm assuming.
Yeah, because it's like 2 minutes after 12, and I still got to go clean the kitchen and
that's
and
all
everything.
Good.
So.
We're going to hit politics, and I think we're going to call it tonight as well. So we're going. I don't think we got a ton of stuff tonight, but we got some stuff to talk about real quick. So, but it was good seeing you. Thanks for being on the show, buddy. Always appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Anytime you want to, by all means, let us know.
All right. Well, I'll be back at work. I'll be back on shift next Friday. So.
Okay. Well, if you're around,
I'll probably pop in.
We'll probably be doing it next week too. So hope to see you then, buddy.
All right.
All right. Later.
Sounds
man.
good, buddy.
Later.
Take care.
Take it easy. Later.
You too.
And we have officially. There we go. We got Aaron. We lost Miranda, but we'll bring her back hopefully as soon as she can come back in, unless she decided to go to bed. I know it is getting kind of late, so we'll kind of get through this as soon as we can see her. So let's move into politics real quick. Let's get going.
Make America great again.
All right, so you guys are gonna have to, hold down the fort for Miranda until she maybe gets back. So I hope you guys can stick with me a little bit here. Got some stuff to talk about, of course. As I try to pull up the stories here. The first thing I want to start off here, a little bit disturbing, but it's a local news story, so I thought we'd talk about it real quick here. Apparently, there's more trans terrorism. Trinity Shockley, a student at Mooresville High School in Indiana, which is, how far is Mooresville from here? It's not far. It's like what? 20 minutes. Is that how far Mooresville is? It's not too far. It's within the hour. But this person was arrested by police for reportedly planning to commit a mass shooting on Valentine's Day. They were self-described in a personal notebook as a transgender male who has a lot of homicidal thoughts, and in a Snapchat message as a 12th grade transgender person named Jamie. Police discovered the bedroom contained a collage of previous mass shooters as well as buttons with mass shooters' faces on them. So the suspect was found with multiple AR-15 magazines, a box of 40 caliber rounds, and a soft armor vest. Apparently this was going to be another mass shooting really close to our home here. So this is scary stuff to think about, no doubt about it. But again, more transgender, potentially people who have had some, therapy and some hormones and stuff that may not be playing well with them for sure. But as Slara said in the chat, bye hater, talking to Horton about the Cowboys. So good thing for there. But anyway, it's definitely all good fun. But this is a sad story. Glad that everybody was safe though, and nobody got hurt. And this was thwarted before it actually happened on Valentine's Day. So good on the police there in Mooresville, Indiana. Did you see this story, Miranda, if you're able to comment on it, about a trans terrorism attack thwarted in Mooresville High School in Indiana?
Yes, I did. That's crazy.
Yeah, not too far from here. I was trying to figure out how far away it was. It's not very far at all. It's like a few counties away, if I'm not mistaken. So it's very close by. So yeah, this is just sad to hear, but glad to see that it was thwarted before anybody got hurt for sure. But on a more lighthearted note, let's kind of move into some more lighter topics here in the world of politics. I know it can be kind of a dour subject, but Rachel Madcow, Mark Cuban's doppelganger, was caught lying by Jesse Waters over there on Fox after she tried to paint Donald Trump and Elon Musk as corrupt, when in fact it was Joe Biden who was the corrupt one. Let's listen to this.
Elon Musk has apparently somehow convinced the United States government, specifically the United States Department of State, that the taxpayers of the United States of America should spend $400 million buying, quote, armored Tesla production units. Isn't it great and definitely not at all illegal or profoundly corrupt? Definitely not ripping us all off to pay themselves, right?
Donald Trump didn't give that contract to Elon Musk. Joe Biden gave it to him.
Yeah, so the Tesla contract in question was actually done in December of 2024 when Joe Biden was still president, and has since been put on hold by the State Department. In case there was any conflict of interest, they want to make sure there's nothing like that going on. But nice try, Rachel Maddow. Keep trying to paint Trump and Elon as corrupt, even though it was your boy Joe that actually is the one who did the contract. So nice try there, buddy. For sure. This week, Elon Musk officially changed his name on X, and henceforth, I declare here on the channel that the leader of Doge will forever be known on this podcast as Harry Bowles.
Now, the disruptor in chief, Elon Musk, who apparently has adopted the alias, at least he changed his social media handle to Harry Balls, tweeted this morning, "Democracy in America is being destroyed by judicial coup. An activist judge is not a real judge." And
I'm fully convinced that Elon Musk fully changed his name to that just so CNN would have to say it. So, as the Simpsons would always say the line, Harry Bowles. Harry Balls. Yes, so he'll forever be known as Harry Balls here on the channel.
The fact that you said that shit is crazy.
I didn't say it. She said it.
Not you. I mean her.
Oh, I got you. But yeah.
Well, one other crazy fact that came out tonight. Ashley Sinclair. You guys know who she is?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, I want to say she was on Tim Pool's podcast, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, is that true?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, apparently 5 months ago, she gave birth to a baby who is fathered by none other than Harry Balls.
Really?
Okay. That's what she said.
That's crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah. So.
Well, who knows? But yeah.
That's crazy.
Elon Musk definitely being a troll in this regard here. But yeah, so thought that was funny. Like I said, he's changed his name. It's not the first time he's done it. He's changed his name on X many times before to other things. So this is just another example, but I thought this was funny just because it made CNN have to say it in a serious tone as best as she could. So I thought that was great. But speaking of the Super Bowl, we'd be remiss if we didn't show the crowd cheering Donald Trump and the crowd booing Taylor Swift. So here he is, obviously getting a ovation during the national anthem. And of course, here is that moment.
us fight for the rain.
So it just feels a little bit like America's healing a little bit here. Like finally the right people were getting cheered and the right people are getting booed. And here's Taylor Swift, not even knowing that she's the one being booed at this point. She said, "What's going on?" She didn't even realize she was on the big board and she was the one being booed. So yeah, I mean, so it can't happen to a nicer person if you ask me. Horton said in the chat, Elon Cromartie. Brandon, Elon Cromartie. Come on, that's funny.
All right.
I mean,
we're done.
Hopefully it's not that bad. But jeez,
Go to bed.
He didn't say he was going to bed. He just said he wasn't going to be on the politics section. But anyway, so yeah. But as we were all preparing to watch the Super Bowl this last Sunday, Donald Trump was actually busy as he was flying in for the show. Oh, crud. I accidentally shut it all down. Here we go. I'll find it. Here we go. But yeah, he was signing proclamations in the air as he signed a proclamation declaring February 9th as Gulf of America Day while flying over the now Gulf of America. This article has got fake news written all over it. But yeah, so that's what he was doing there. And here's the video of him doing exactly that.
Make America great again, right? That's what we care about. Okay, here we go.
I cut off part of it.
So we thought this would be appropriate.
He thought it'd be appropriate because they were flying over the Gulf of America as he signed the proclamation for the Gulf of America Day there for sure. So I said golf. I meant golf. But
golf.
Yeah, Trump golfs a lot too. So there's that. But yeah. But following the game this week, CNN's Caitlin Collins once again tried a gotcha question on Trump over Gulf of America and gets schooled by his press secretary, Caroline Leavitt. Let's listen to this.
I have a view. Which White House official made the decision to bar the AP reporter from the Oval Office and the diplomatic reception room last night?
Well, first of all, let me just set the record straight. It is a privilege to cover this White House. It's a privilege to be the White House press secretary. And nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given. And there are hundreds of outlets on this campus, many of you in this room who don't have the privilege of being part of that pool every single day and getting to ask the President questions. We reserve the right to decide who gets to go into the Oval Office, and you all have credentials to be here, including the Associated Press, who is in this briefing room today.
But isn't it retaliatory in nature is the argument, because the reason that the AP was barred, which they said was because they're not using the phrase Gulf of America, they're using Gulf of Mexico in line with their standards. And so the question here is this setting a precedent that this White House will retaliate against reporters who don't use the language that you guys believe reporters should use? And how does that align with the First Amendment commitment that you were just talking about?
I was very upfront in my briefing on day one that if we feel that there are lies being pushed by outlets in this room, we are going to hold those lies accountable. And it is a fact that the body of water off the coast of Louisiana is called the Gulf of America. And I'm not sure why news outlets don't want to call it that, but that is what it is. The Secretary of Interior has made that the official designation in the Geographical Identification Name Server. And Apple has recognized that. Google has recognized that. Pretty much every other outlet in this room has recognized that body of water as the Gulf of America. And it's very important to this administration that we get that right, not just for people here at home, but also for the rest of the world.
Have I mentioned that I love her? I think she's awesome.
The way she just nonchalantly explains, like, what are we talking about? Like,
yeah, for real. I mean, but did you hear that? The leftist media is dead naming the Gulf of America. In the words of Greta Thunberg, how dare you? I mean,
oh my God.
Even Google Maps recognizes it. It's disrespectful, and I kindly ask that you respect its new name. Am I doing this right? I mean, that's
the Gulf of America.
Yeah, I mean, but BT Dubs, the AP, who was one of the organizations caught receiving money from USAID and the outlet who incorrectly called the Gulf by the wrong name that was referenced in the video here, has officially been banned from the Oval Office and Air Force One for pushing said misinformation by calling it the Gulf of Mexico. So you play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know what anybody's mad about here.
Well,
I mean, we're done with the misinformation. It's officially called Gulf of America now. Like it or not, that's what it is. Simple as that, right? So stop lying to the American people. So yeah,
is it not like it's what do we? Whatever.
I don't know. But yeah, to go along with that, though, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has had his plate full this week as well, when he wasn't too busy confirming that Ukraine will not be invited into NATO and that there will be no more relying on us for military funding or U.S. troops in Ukraine as part of any negotiated settlement. Which, side note, that's awesome, by the way. That's finally going to be a thing, or not be a thing in regards to NATO. Part of the reason the war between Russia and Ukraine broke out is because Biden suggested that Ukraine should join NATO. That's part of the reason why it happened. But when he wasn't busy doing all that, Pete Hegseth renamed Fort Liberty back to Fort Bragg. Here he is signing a proclamation of that. If I could pull that up. Here we go.
There it is. Pursuant to the authority of the Secretary of Defense, Title 10, United States Code, Section 113, I direct the Army to change the name of Fort Liberty, North Carolina to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. That's right, Bragg is back.
Now, this was actually very clever by Pete Hegseth and the Donald Trump administration here. And the issue is, it was changed to Fort Liberty under the Biden administration in a sad attempt to erase history by applying today's cancel culture to the past who didn't live by today's so-called better standards. Biden claimed the name may invoke racism among black soldiers after it was originally named after Braxton Bragg, who fought for the Confederacy in the Civil War. I mean, personally, I highly doubt many black soldiers at Fort Bragg spent every waking moment fixated on the name. But by naming it now after Roland L. Bragg, this time it still holds true to the historical name of the base, and it pays tribute to another American war hero who won the Silver Star and Purple Heart during the Battle of the Bulge. It's perfectly fine to have American pride in the name and have pride in this nation, even though people in the past were imperfect. And you know what? Guess what? So are all of us. This is clever by the Trump administration, and it's smart because it makes it hard for left-wing activists to protest renaming it back to Fort Bragg. Same for Mount McKinley, Gulf of America, etc. You know, all that stuff, all the naming that Donald Trump's doing now. So why is all this name changing important? The left, of course, are acting like it's something Trump shouldn't even be focused on, and instead he should be focusing on stuff like the cost of eggs. Yet they were cheering it on under Obama and Biden. And Biden, same thing. And Biden literally caused hyperinflation, but they had no problem with, Biden taking time to rename stuff when he was making things more expensive. Democrats over the last few decades have been so obsessed with erasing history by tearing down statues and things. They've been doing it so much that many in America and the society no longer have a positive view of the greatest country in the world, as flawed as she may be. Trump is just trying to bring a sense of pride back to this country, and it's great to see. So, what are your thoughts on Fort Bragg being cleverly renamed Fort Bragg again?
I don't think that ever mattered. I mean, to be real honest with you, they're going there to serve their country. I doubt they gave a fuck about what the name was. Like, nobody, it wasn't that deep. It really wasn't.
The Biden administration made it that deep. They tried to.
I'm glad they changed it back.
Yeah, I just thought that was clever. They found another person named Bragg, so they could go back to the old name.
That was clever.
But now it's actually, if you want to argue that, fine. Well, now what's your argument? Because they found somebody who was actually worthy of the name to be.
I just don't feel like that shit mattered.
It really didn't. Like I said, I don't think soldiers were sitting there thinking, man, I wish they didn't name this place up Fort Bragg because that's racist. I don't think they were doing that.
I don't think they did.
Racism is not as big of a problem in this country as the left would have you believe it is.
It is when they're in charge because that's what keeps the wheels going.
Well, yeah, they're the racist ones. But what I'm saying is, like, they want to say it's like this existential threat. Everybody's racist. Everybody, no, they're really not. Most people don't. It's not an issue.
Most people don't care.
No, they don't. So I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
It's just as racist as having Aunt Jemima's picture on Aunt Jemima's syrup or Sacagawea on a butter tub.
Yeah, like
or a redskin on a football helmet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's but by taking away those things, you're taking away the history of those things and what made those things important. Same thing here. They take away all the statues and all this stuff because they were racist back in the day. Yeah, well, in 50 years from now or 100 years from now, people are going to look back on you and think you weren't that great either.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but are they going to be erasing our history too? That's the precedent you're trying to set, and it's not good. But then during the Super Bowl itself, Trump instructed the Secretary of Treasury to eliminate new production of pennies in his continued effort to reduce wasteful spending, stating that for far too long, the United States has minted pennies, which literally cost us more to produce than it is for them to, So, yeah, thoughts on America no longer producing pennies. Save your pennies. They might be worth something one day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so... Yeah, as of right now, that's it. Save them up, and they might actually be worth money. Maybe, hopefully, more than 1 cent. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know, but yeah, no more pennies being made.
I don't know if I really agree with that. I mean, I think we could have looked for a cheaper way to make them. I don't know, but
yeah, I'm not
I
sure
don't know.
how much it costs.
He knows more than me.
Yeah, I mean, I just says like just who uses pennies nowadays? Hell, most people don't use money. It's usually debit card, or people don't use.
I use them every day still, but
you get change and stuff. Maybe I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But at the same time, outside of that, whenever I get pennies, I don't ever spend them, and they usually just end up being drier, lint or whatever.
Well, see, if we get rid of taxes,
Uh-huh.
if we get rid of taxes, we can just have nickels, dimes, and quarters. We won't need pennies.
I mean, they're nickel and diming us anyway, so
Yeah.
that's for damn sure.
Yeah, you're right. You wouldn't need pennies after that.
Yeah, that was a customer come in this morning and she was talking about getting rid of the penny, and then she was like, "Well, we could just get rid of taxes, and then we could just have everything be either 0 or 5 cents."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know, and I mean, I get the strategy behind like you go to a store and it says that item is $2.99. Why don't you just say it's $3?
Mm-hmm.
Because with the 2 in front of it, it appears cheaper. I get the strategy behind it, but it's $3, especially after tax.
But it's always plus tax.
Yeah, but why like that 1 penny is what you don't. It's always
it's marketing.
It's marketing. Yeah, it's just stupid. But yeah, so bye penny. So yeah, like I said.
I mean, the penny's not going away, right? They're just not going to be making anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing they'll still be in circulation, but yeah, they're not minting anymore. Yeah, that's the way I took it. So, but
and I bet they
could collect them all. I mean, I don't know. Take a while.
Well, like people don't spend them as much. So when I go get them from the bank has to, replenish theirs probably weekly, every couple weeks. So, I mean, it could run out of circulation pretty quick.
I mean, if they, pulled them from, I mean, it's very well possible. I just don't think that was part of the report. It was mostly about production. So if that's the case, they may still be used, but they're just not going to make anymore. So yeah. Also during the Super Bowl, apparently a whistleblower report came out that accused Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, who Kamala Harris famously looked over for Tim Walz in Minnesota in her campaign run, accused Josh Shapiro of allegedly being a part of the attempt that tried to have Donald Trump killed in Butler. So this is a very serious allegation if it ends up being true. Let's listen to one of our favorites on the channel, the Older Millennial, explain this here, a very serious allegation.
All right, look, so I have to be super careful about how I word this because this is a very serious allegation against the Democrat governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro. In this affidavit, a federal whistleblower named Hadassah Feinberg alleges that Josh Shapiro, in his personal, individual, and official capacity, facilitated, organized, and carried out his plan to assassinate President Trump. She alleges that Governor Shapiro conspired and colluded with Pennsylvania officials, namely State Police Commissioner Christopher Paris, and that he used Commissioner Paris to not only facilitate the attempted assassination, but also to conceal it. She alleges that Shapiro and Paris's actions were willful and were not a security failure. Now, obviously, this is an extremely serious accusation. This is not something that can be ignored or thrown under the rug. Hadassah gave this testimony under oath. He gave this criminal affidavit under oath and under the protections as a federal whistleblower. Now we wait and see what happens next. This is a governor accused of trying to assassinate the president.
Thoughts? Governor.
I mean, if
Democrat
he's part
governor.
of it, then fuck him.
It's his state. I mean, we
I
questioned
wouldn't
at the
doubt
time. We questioned at the time, how did this guy get so close with line of sight? They said there, what was it? Was it police commissioner? I believe so. The police state commissioner. So that right there would be explaining exactly why he was able to get where he got. I mean, makes sense, right?
This can't just be at the state level because
maybe not.
From what I understand, The shooter was right above where the FBI were staged.
Secret Service was in the area too,
so it can't just be at the state level. So my conspiracy theory here is that the governor is going to take the fall for this to cover up the bigger perpetrator.
I mean, that's possible. I mean, don't count it out. But I mean, I don't know how far up this goes, but this may just be the start of it. And if they find out he's guilty here, maybe they uncover more. Maybe we actually get to the bottom of this, and I hope they do, because I know Trump wants to know who it was who's trying to kill him. I mean, wouldn't you? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't blame the man. So, yeah, let's hope they find out. But this is a very serious deal, and we'll keep an eye on this. Hopefully more will come out, and we'll see how this ends up going for sure. Yeah, so any other thoughts on that while I move to the next screen?
No, I mean, if fuck him, if he's guilty, and maybe this does help you find the bigger fish in this aspect, but fuck him. Like, you tried to get a man killed just because you didn't like his words. Like, y'all fucked up that sounds.
Well, Biden met with Shapiro a lot in the weeks before that. So they're all scared. That Alina Halbo video I sent you this morning, she says it best. They are scared.
Oh, you can tell they're terrified. This is all the Democrat Party panicking right now. I mean, there's nothing good on the Democratic side, which we're going to get into a little bit more here. But yeah, speaking of that, Democrats had new messaging this week in regards to Donald Trump and Elon and Doge. And I find it hilarious that the same people who chop off their son's wieners and they think that Elon's going too far. So, you know, is that just me? But yeah, and we'll get into that here a little bit too, Matt, about AOC. We'll get into that here in a little bit, so hold tight there, buddy. Always jumping the gun, Matt. Come on. But anyway, the Democrat messaging this week, though, they apparently downloaded their new programming this week because outside of the normal, Elon has access to your private information. Cry that they love to do. The DMV, by the way, has your private information. Anything you've ever signed on your phone has your private information. Get a grip. Stop your freaking pearl clutching, if you ask me. But their new favorite term this week was constitutional crisis. Hate to break it to you, Democrats, your messaging didn't work when you were trying to say Trump was Hitler or that everything is a threat to democracy. Rebranding all that now to constitutional crisis ain't going to cut it either. It's really not. But let's look deeper into how Doge was created for those who think that Donald Trump and Elon are just doing things unconstitutionally. Let's see if I can pull this. No, I think it's about as high as it can go. Okay, so I mentioned a little bit last week about how Doge wasn't just recreated out of whole cloth, but this breaks it down better for you. This lawyer, Tom Renz, who actually read Trump's Doge executive order and expecting some illegal power grab, find it to be airtight, Doge is. Turns out Trump and Musk didn't create anything. Barack Obama did. Obama created United States Digital Service, which I mentioned last week, in 2014. It was meant as a bureaucratic patch job to fix the Obamacare website meltdown. Fast forward to 2025, Trump rebrands Doge, the United States Doge Service. He kept the acronym from the digital service, USDS, keeping the funding as well, but gives it a whole new mission: find the receipts. He legally it's untouchable because it was already fully funded and operational. Trump invokes Section 5 of United States Code 3161, which allows him to create temporary hiring authorities. Doge team gets embedded inside every single federal agency. Each team consists of a lawyer, an HR rep, a Zoomer nerd, and an investigator, the Zoomer nerd being the 19, 20-year-olds that we talked about last week. They report to Doge, not the agency that they're embedded in. But wait, there's more, as it was said in Scary Movie. Trump invokes Section 44 United States Code Chapter 35, which governs federal IT and cybersecurity oversight. Since USDS was originally an IT oversight body, Doge now has full access to all federal data systems. Yes, that's right, all of them. Trump's executive order is written to block legal challenges. This includes language that overrides conflicting executive orders, and it orders every agency to comply. Refusal means they violate presidential authority. Congress can't defund it because it's not a new program, just a repurposed one, and the Department of Justice can't sue for overreach because Trump used existing laws exactly as written. Democrats trying to file legal challenges run into standing issues because Doge operates within existing frameworks. Barack Obama literally built the perfect administrative deep state IT backdoor, and Donald Trump and Musk just hacked the system and took the administrative controls. Elon Musk now has legal oversight of every major agency's internal systems. The administrative state can't stop it without rewriting multiple federal laws. So they legally outplayed the system, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. Barack Obama created Doge in the long run. This is this is insane, if you ask me, and it's absolutely outstanding. I mean,
yep,
dude. But yeah, so this is great. I mean, yeah. And Horton mentioned it. Talk about chess. While everybody else is playing checkers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but despite all of that, though, even though they didn't have to, in an effort to provide answers to the confusion, Donald Trump allowed Elon Musk. Oh, I thought I heard something. Anyway, Donald Trump allowed Elon Musk to address the press about Doge in the Oval Office, just to kind of clear up some confusion. Listen to this.
For major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally. The people voted for major government reform, and that's what people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for. And a lot of times, that people that don't get what they voted for, but in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about.
That's exactly what democracy is all about. And here he is talking about the corruption that needs to be weeded out as well.
Well, we do find it sort of rather odd that there are quite a few people in the bureaucracy who have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, which is, what happened to USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But just there seems to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from? And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at the taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it. So, we're looking at, we just.
So they didn't have to come out and answer any questions about this at all, but they were nice enough to say, "All right, there's some questions out there. Let's answer some of them." So that, to me, that's transparency. If you ask me, isn't that what we should be, striving for as a United States government for the American people?
Yeah, that's what we voted for.
Exactly. They're doing exactly what we voted them for to do. You may not like it, but that maybe it's on you. You ever thought of that? But anyway, the best that the Democrats had to respond to this was The View was apparently decided to kind of, poke fun at Elon Musk's son's name, Little X.
Yeah. So yesterday, Elon Musk took his son X to a press conference. I did not name the child. And I don't want to hear any more mess about our names, okay? Okay?
Oh.
Anywho, he took little X.
Funny. A little Instagram.
He doesn't own Instagram.
He doesn't own Instagram. He just took little X with him to a press conference in the Oval Office to defend himself against critics who say he should not have the power to gut the federal agency.
So, I mean, that's the best they got, making fun of a 4-year-old child. And Whoopi's like, well, I don't want to hear any more mess about our names, okay? Well, since you're casual... Oh, go ahead.
Isn't his full name Xavier?
I'm not positive, Miranda.
It's something like that.
I mean, that would make sense. I'll have to look it up to find out.
It's not. It's spelled very Elon Musk.
Gotcha. Creative. Gotcha.
Yes.
Well, I mean, but again, to stoop to the level, they were more or less kind of making fun of Elon for naming him that. But so, I mean, you want to talk about not bringing up your guys' name, but since you so casually want to make fun of Lil X's name, how about we talk about Whoopi Goldberg here for a second, shall we? The head of the show is literally named Whoopi. Okay? Whoopi. That's a name if you want to make fun of a name. She's legit named after a fart cushion. And remember, she chose Whoopi Goldberg because her real name is Karen Elaine Johnson. I just knew she was a Karen. It all makes sense now.
Absolutely.
Or if you play Sims, Whoopi is when you do the deed in the bed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, I mean, this woman was in Sister Act, for God's sakes. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying. I mean, you want to talk about making fun of names? You chose Whoopi Goldberg. Now, I get stage names are supposed to kind of stand out, but a fart cushion? I mean, come on. You can do better than that, right? I mean, so yeah, but yep, she's holding true to her real name. She is definitely a Karen if I ever saw it, for certain. But back to the topic at hand. Here's Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, once again, addressing the so-called constitutional crisis that Democrats and the left are trying to, expunge right now.
The real constitutional crisis is taking place within our judicial branch, where district court judges in liberal districts across the country are abusing their power to unilaterally block President Trump's basic executive authority. We believe these judges are acting as judicial activists rather than honest arbiters of the law.
Right.
And they have issued at least 12 injunctions against this administration in the past 14 days, often without citing any evidence or grounds for their lawsuits.
No legal.
This is part of a larger concerted effort by Democrat activists and nothing more than the continuation of the weaponization of justice against President Trump. Quick news flash to these liberal judges who are supporting their obstructionist efforts. 77 million Americans voted to elect this president. And each injunction is an abuse of the rule of law and an attempt to thwart the will of the people. As the president clearly stated in the Oval Office yesterday, we will comply with the law in the courts, but we will also continue to seek every legal remedy to ultimately overturn these radical injunctions and ensure President Trump's policies can be enacted.
Okay, so first of all, when Democrats say things like it's a threat to democracy or constitutional crisis, they mean a threat to things we like. Nothing more, nothing less. In this particular case, when Elon and Doge, what they're doing is a threat to their bureaucracy, not a democracy. That's what it is. Which we're about constitutional republic. We're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic here in the United States. So we've never been a democracy. So this whole idea is absurd. And I honestly think that's a big part of the problem in the United States, really. There's far too many brainwashed people out there who legitimately think that we're a democracy due to being told that over and over again. So when they hear the Democrats say threat to democracy, they actually think that's the case when we're not even a democracy to begin with. But again, when they say that stuff, constitutional crisis, Trump is Hitler, it just means that their interests are threatened, not the country's. End of story. Second, this whole Democrat narrative that the media is running with, that Elon is a shadow president and Trump sat in the Oval Office looking weak as Elon Musk answered questions from the press, that narrative is absurd. It's eye-roll inducing. Trump asked Elon Musk to speak, you cultists. Donald Trump is the president. Musk is not co-president, you deranged lunatics. And the left say we're the crazy conspiracy theorists. Let's listen to Donald Trump explain how the media is trying to drive himself and Elon Musk apart, in his own words, here on Fox News.
They have many different things of hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely. No, they said, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has ceded control of the presidency to Elon Musk. President Musk will be attending a cabinet meeting tonight at 8 o'clock. And I say, it's just so obvious. They're so bad at it. I used to think they were good at it. They're actually bad at it, because if they were good at it, I'd never be president. Because I think nobody in history has ever gotten more bad publicity than me. I could do the greatest things. I get 98% bad publicity. I could do, outside of you and a few of your very good friends, it's like the craziest thing. But you know what I have learned, Elon? The people are smart. They get it.
Yeah, they do, actually.
They get it. They really see what's happening.
Yes.
He's right. I mean, we're not dumb enough to fall for this nonsense anymore. We're not. It's not 2016 no more. And hell, we didn't fall for it then. A lot of people did. We didn't. But, this is the narrative they try to do.
I think that he's just getting close to something bigger that they're trying to stop him before he finds it.
Well, I'm sure there's something that they're not wanting him to find, for certain.
And I'm pretty sure I read an article where this block allows whoever's doing the research on Doge to delete records. So
that's about all they're doing is buying time at this point.
Yeah, they're
As I'm
deleting
about to get
stuff.
into. Yeah,
Mhm.
because I'm going to talk a little bit about the judge blocking stuff in a little bit here in just a second too. So hang in there. But yeah, you're right. I think all it's doing is just buying time at this point, which is Trump's even said it just slows us down.
Yeah.
They're going to uncover it. So it's going to be harder the longer this goes. I think that's what the Democrats want. That's how they're fighting back, or they're trying to. But it's going to fail too in the courts, no doubt about it.
Side thing though, I did look up the video where Elon, talked about his son's name, and it is X. The AE thing stands for Ash, and then A12 is just A12, and that's just I think that's just some plane.
Interesting. That's I hadn't heard that before. I'll have to look into more of that. But definitely sounds interesting. Very Elon-esque, as Miranda put it, for sure. But yeah, so
apparently that came from his partner.
Really?
His contribution was the A12, according to him.
Okay. Interesting. I'll have to look more into that. That's very, very good. Research there, Aaron. Great job doing a little bit of
reporting.
doing the reporting work for us. Awesome. So, all right, moving on a little bit. So remember when Joe Biden's White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said this about FEMA not giving funds to house illegals? Here you go.
So, disaster relief, this is a falsehood. Disaster relief funds used on immigrants illegally in the U.S. The fact is, no money is being diverted from response needs. That's the fact.
So, that's the fact. And they called that misinformation. Well, I guess crazy conspiracy theorists were right yet again. Elon Musk and the Doge team just discovered this week that FEMA sent $59 million last week after Donald Trump had issued an executive order to stop federal funding, mind you, to luxury hotels in New York City to house illegal migrants. Just as we said all along. Musk said that a clawback demand would be implemented to recoup the funds, and as of Wednesday, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has confirmed that the entire $59 million has been clawed back and recouped. But the left's new narrative is, how do we trust that what Elon and Doge have found is true? Where's the evidence? First of all, you can follow Doge on X, and I believe their findings are now also on the Doge website. And here's, once again, Caroline Levitt bringing the receipts.
On Doge and the fraud claims, Elon Musk in the Oval yesterday gave us some information on that. We're just wondering if there's some proof, evidence. Is the White House willing to share evidence of those fraud claims, or can Elon Musk come to the briefing room and share material evidence of what he's talking about?
Sure, I would love for Elon Musk to come to the briefing room. That's why we had him go to the Oval Office yesterday, where I think he provided great answers. He was speaking in layman's terms, speaking common sense to all of you in the media, but also to Americans at home. But I would say especially to all of you in the media, because I think it's a real fallacy that there's this alleged lack of transparency when it comes to Doge. President Trump and Elon Musk have been incredibly transparent on what Doge is doing. There is an X account with the Doge handle. They are tweeting out what they are doing on a daily basis. They have a website where they are posting the receipts of the contracts that they are reviewing and the payments that they have stopped from going out the door. The secretaries of our departments have stopped from going out the door. And I would also say that before it was Elon Musk making our government efficient and accountable, it was some unnamed bureaucrat that none of you knew. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. He's also now one of the most highly scrutinized men in the world alongside President Trump because of what he's doing and the access that he is allowing. So there's great transparency. As for the actual receipts, we are happy to provide them, and I actually brought some today because all of you know I love to bring the receipts. We have contracts upon contracts that we can send and provide this information to you. Let me be very clear. We are not trying to hide anything. We have been incredibly transparent, and we will continue to be. These are screenshots of contracts that Doge found across our government. This is a DEI contract, $36,000 for U.S. citizenship and immigration services. That is against the president's policies and his America First agenda. This is a $3.4 million contract, a Council for Inclusive Innovation at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, Department of Commerce.
Anyway, she goes on a little bit better about all the contract stuff that she has on hand, but you get the picture. You know, she came with the receipts. So thoughts on Caroline Levitt being an absolute boss? I think she's great.
I mean, she's killing it. Like, it was one of the things I used to like about Kaylee was that.
Yeah, absolutely taking none of the the media's BS, calling it out right to their faces. Yeah, and I agree with Slaughter the Assassin. She does not mess around. Love her. The same with Kelly
So-
McEnany. Trump knows how to pick him when it comes to the White House press secretary.
Quick sidebar: Miranda's internet finally just crashed.
Well, darn. I'd
Uh-uh.
like to see her come back, but if not tonight, I totally understand. Y'all got to get that Ethernet cord, I think, for the sounds
Yeah,
of things, most
yeah.
likely. But anyway, we'll work it out. But we ain't got a whole lot left. But anyway, not a whole lot to talk about when it comes to politics tonight. But yeah, thoughts on Caroline Levitt more though?
No,
Like I said, absolutely. Boss.
This was the issue I had with Kareem. Like, just say it. Like, the beating around the bush is what I hate. Like,
the blatant lies.
Yeah, and I've watched so many Senate hearings last year that, like, I mean, Aaron would have this conversation too. Like, I hate the political speech. It's worse than lawyer speech.
There's no authenticity
'Cause-
there.
No,
You know?
but at least with her, this is just listen. This is what was happening.
This is where
This
y'all are
is
getting
what-
it wrong.
Yeah,
You know, it's
And
like, we
I-
provide all the
thank
info
you.
for you. Here you go. And
Yeah,
the Biden
thank
administration
you.
is like, no, here, take our word for it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, come on.
So I like that. I like that she does that, and she's so matter of fact about the shit. Like, she can't wait for you to say something so she can go, "Nah, I got it."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
check out what I got in my pocket. You know, I'm gonna pull
Yeah.
this out. Yeah, exactly. I love it. She learned that trick from Trump too. But anyway, but as for this FEMA money, sending this money after Donald Trump explicitly said not to last week, violated the law and is in gross insubordination to the president's executive order. In regards to the insubordination, apparently the Department of Homeland Security says the 4 FEMA employees who circumvented leadership and is responsible for paying New York City $59 million to house illegal migrants have been fired. But I'm sorry, that's not enough for me. I don't know about you. I'm getting a little impatient. I want to see arrests for those who defy the executive branch simply because they don't agree with Donald Trump. I don't know where about you, but that's called treason.
Mm-hmm.
And the same goes for... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, where was this money when that hurricane hit North
Bingo.
Carolina?
Yeah,
Where
and
was
I'm about to
that?
get to that. I'm about to get to that too. I'm gonna bring it
Okay.
up just a second too. You're fine. But yeah, I mean, that's not enough for me to. I want to see arrest. Blah blah blah. Where was I at here? Well, sorry. Okay, but that's the same goes for these corrupt, unconstitutional activist judges across the country trying to block Trump and Doge too. That Caroline Levitt also mentioned. These are biased judges that simply don't like the changes that Donald Trump is making, and their legal challenges will fail and bear that out. But federal judges have been blocked, have even blocked the head of the Treasury. The Secretary of the Treasury has even been blocked by these activist judges from accessing the Treasury. Can you explain that one to me? The man who is the leader of the Treasury can't access the Treasury. This is wrong.
So a liberal New York judge just did something so unconstitutional that I actually had to look it up under 5 different sources because I didn't believe there was any chance this actually happened. So Judge Engelmeyer just forbade all political appointees, including the new Secretary of the Treasury, from accessing U.S. Department of Treasury data. You understand how insane that is? The judge just banned the Secretary of the Treasury, the person who is in charge of the United States Treasury, from having access to the United States Treasury data. And in doing this, the judge cited no law, no precedent, and not even any fucking reason to do this. Oh, and the order was ex parte, meaning it couldn't be challenged. In fact, the only lawyers allowed to weigh in on this were Democrat attorney generals. They just banned the person in charge of the Treasury from accessing the Treasury. Now, all the employees that were there when Biden was in power, they still have access. So right now, the Secretary of the Treasury has less power than the people who work for him. Like, this is fucking insane. That you can just get a judge in New York to say the Secretary of the Treasury doesn't get to do anything at the Treasury. And while this order is currently only for a week, these Democrat attorney generals are pushing to make this permanent. They are trying to permanently bar the Secretary of the Treasury from accessing anything at the Treasury. This is seditious and treasonous. How are you going to have random state judges and random state attorney generals bar the executive branch from accessing information in the executive branch? How are you going to bar the fucking Secretary of Treasury from the Treasury? Fuck sanctions, fuck being fired. These people need to go to fucking jail.
Exactly. That's my biggest problem with this. I mean, Donald Trump went on to talk about the judges being corrupt too, but I'll skip that for the sake of time. But these judges do not have the power to stop the executive authority. But that's exactly what they're trying to do. Do not get me wrong. Of course, the judicial branch is a check of the executive branch. And that's perfectly acceptable if they were challenging Donald Trump's orders based in law. But they're not. Trump isn't doing anything outside his authority. However, like I said, this attempt to subvert the power of the presidency is already beginning to be overturned. As of this week, a federal judge over the last few days ruled that President Trump does have the authority to freeze and or limit federal funding, as well as buy out upwards of 75,000 federal employees, just like we already knew he did. However, a different judge now has also blocked Trump's executive order banning transgender surgery for minors. So we'll see if that block works out about as well as the federal funding block did not. But these activist judges need to get bent, if you ask me, because they're not coming at him lawfully, which again is perfectly normal and perfectly fine for judges to do if they want to make sure a president is doing the things the way he should based on the law. But that's not what they're doing. They're just trying to stop him because it's Trump, or God knows what they're hiding. That's what a lot of this is. What's in the treasury they don't want us to know. I mean, makes you think, doesn't it? As Elon put it. Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
If everything was on the up and up, they wouldn't have anything to worry about, and they just let Doge see it.
Yeah, go look.
Just with what they have found already, they found corruption.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're stopping it at the Treasury means the biggest thing that we need to know is in the Treasury.
Yeah, or any of these other agencies that they're trying to stop at this point too. But yeah, like you said earlier, buying time is all this is doing to try to cover up whatever it is they're trying to hide. That's what a lot of this is. And as Elon Musk put it on X, if any judge anywhere can stop every presidential action everywhere, we do not live in a democracy. Just a random judge at any location can say, "No, president can't do that everywhere." I mean, what power does the president have? I mean, seriously. Anybody else got any thoughts on these judges that are clearly being unconstitutional here? Brandon, you're muted.
I know. I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
When you're inherently doing something wrong on a small scale and you know it's wrong. And for some people, this it bothers you. But when you're doing something wrong and you know it's wrong on a large scale, how do you where's your conscience at?
How do you live with that?
I've
done little stuff. I mean, everybody's done little stuff.
Yeah.
And even then, my conscience goes, "You shouldn't have done that. How could you do that?" If I did something this big, I wouldn't be able to live with myself until I confessed to it.
Yeah.
But these people have no souls.
Because it's how deep in
they do,
in the
but
woods
they're all
are a
going to
lot
hell.
of these people.
I mean, yeah, how corrupt must you be?
What do they have on you? What did you do?
More like, how much am I pocketing, and it's more important to me than anything
Yeah,
more.
it's either cash or blackmail. And if it's blackmail, what did you do?
Yeah, I mean, that could be involved too.
Because it's you just don't do this off of a whim. Somebody's telling you to do this. So whoever's telling you to do this and you agreeing to do it, there's got to be a reason why, and not the reason of, I just don't like what he's doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they could just be getting paid to do it too, or whatever. But yeah, I mean,
even that though. But that's the money can't be that fucking good, because here's the thing: once the truth comes out or whatever, you're gonna be the first one to fall, and you might be the only one to fall, because if the people who put you up to it are in that class of untouchable, then it's you. So was the money worth it then? Because you're gonna get to spend it.
I mean, this is not the first corrupt judge we've seen go after Donald Trump. About all the cases that he had brought against him had the same sort of problem. This is why Trump says he doesn't trust the judicial system. It's not because he's guilty and he's mad at them because he ain't getting his way. It's because he sees the hypocrisy and the corruption involved in this, and he's trying to fix it. But he can only do so much if they're attacking him left, right, and center. If he's getting overruled when it's not even lawful. I mean, that's the problem here. This is the Democrats' play. And they're going to keep trying to do this until eventually it gets struck down because it's unconstitutional and unlawful, like the federal funding block did earlier on. The rest of these will do the same thing because Trump's doing it the right way. I mean, so once that happens, what are they going to do then? Killing him obviously failed. I may try that again. I don't know. I hope not. But yeah. But for those of you, like Aaron asked, what happened to where was FEMA during the hurricane victims over in North Carolina? FEMA kicked out victims of the North Carolina hurricane from their homes during that time. I mean, in regards to $59 million, that money is meant for American disaster relief, and instead it was being spent on high-end hotels for illegals in New York. But they kicked out upwards of 3,000 hurricane victims in Western North Carolina during the wintertime amid freezing temperatures to send that money to illegals in New York City instead of housing these people in North Carolina. That's what FEMA was doing. So you think we should still keep FEMA at this point? Anybody out there think that at all? Or should maybe it be, dissolved like Donald Trump is probably going to end up doing?
Here's the thing. We saw
Dissolve it.
Yeah.
They're clearly not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
No.
But this isn't the first incident of that shit either.
No, it's been going on. I mean, how many other,
Hurricane Katrina was a fucking disaster.
Oh yeah, it's been going on for years.
It's been going on for years.
Just most recently, I mean, like, where was all the help in L.A. or Maui and all this stuff?
Hell, even in East Palestine, like
East Palestine, where were they? Yeah, this is criminal what they're doing to real American people living in tents because they lost their home during, in the winter.
That's crazy, dude.
Let's kick out, kids and families, but let's house the illegal immigrants in luxury hotels that our tax dollars are paying for due to FEMA. Yeah, I agree with Aaron. Dissolve it. Get rid of it. So yeah, yeah.
Better.
And, yeah. And look, by the way, here's what North Carolina still looks like.
Dude, you know how fucking devastating that is?
Looks like a world, third world country that just, a bomb went off. I mean, this is just from the flooding and stuff from the hurricane. I mean, this is what they're still doing with. But no, let's go ahead. We got to keep them illegals because they get votes. Didn't work though, did it?
Dude, people lost everything. Like that's crazy.
By the way, the FEMA is not the only thing that Elon Musk is looking into here. Hold on to your butts. Guess who's next? Yesterday, Doge began auditing the auditors at the IRS as Harry Balls Musk polled X, and they overwhelmingly said to do it. 92% said at least yes, you need to look into the IRS. So Elon Musk put it to the people, and he obliged after he got Donald Trump's approval. More on what they find at the IRS when we find out the details of what they found when they went to audit them. So good. Look into all of the scumbags, if you ask me. And dissolve that too while you're at it, if you ask me. So, yeah. But, of course, the Democrats, the best they got as all this was going on, and the right has basically been owning the left, the best they could muster was this.
Every time you hear Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, you just remember it is the Department of Government Evil. Over.
So you are aware that Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Doge is literally cutting the government, right?
Mm-hmm.
Including firing all federal prosecutors appointed by Joe Biden. And they've just now begun massive layoffs to federal agencies across the board, including the Department of Education, Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, the Office of Personnel Management, the Environmental Protective Agency, the General Services Administration, and the Small Business Administration. All of them are getting massive layoffs. So less government is good, people. At the end of the day, that's a good thing. While I feel for those people who lost their jobs, this in the long-term grand scheme of things, less government is better for the country and for these people who lost their jobs. It really is.
I mean, in the layoffs, aren't they still like getting paid until September?
Well, that was the ones. Those are the ones who took the deal, the 75,000. It might be some of these people, but a lot of those people who took the deal and accepted his offer. But some people did not accept it. They're going to get laid off with nothing now.
I mean, isn't there a severance thing that they have to go through?
There might be.
There might be, but it won't be what the other 75,000 are getting until September.
That they accepted the offer of Trump to take the deal. We said it here on the channel. You better take it now because that offer may not last long.
Yeah.
So, and now we know that he does have the authority to pay out those buyouts because even though a judge tried to block it, it was unblocked this week. So yeah, he can do that. He has full authority to do so.
These are probably the same people that agreed that, Americans can live off of $3,000 a month and think that that's sustainable.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
in an ever increasing economy.
Yeah.
Or cost of living.
And they won't live off of it themselves for certain.
No, fuck no.
No, fuck no. But while Donald Trump and Doge are owning the Democrats are putting their war faces on and making up songs.
Which side are you on? Tell me, which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Wow.
We'll fight against Doge. We'll fight Elon Musk. No Elon scab within our walls. We'll fight from dawn to dusk.
Oh!
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
This is
Tell
the
me.
cringiest shit I've ever seen.
Which side are you on? Trump's coming for our unions. He wants us all to fail. He
At least hit the right
wants us
key.
all to bow to him, but we want him in jail.
Here comes my favorite part. Which side are you on? Tell me, which side are you on?
Tell me, which side are you on? Are you?
It's the way they were like, tell me. Yeah,
Yo,
they rehearsed
somebody was getting into it too.
Getting
That's
in it.
crazy.
I mean, good luck with all that. Right now, as we mentioned earlier, the right is playing chess and the left actually is probably playing checkers on a handicap. I mean, sheesh. I mean, this is the best you got. Yeah. But even the old hag, Maxine Waters, was out trying to, say her speech here. But she accidentally let the truth fly in a Freudian slip. Here she is talking about what Democrats are really afraid of, and she let the truth fly.
People of this country are being violated because all of our privacy is being taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us. We don't know what all they have on us.
Woo, boy, let that Freudian slip, did she? We don't know what they have on us. Well, the truth comes out eventually, doesn't it? Well, but yeah, so I love this explanation by this young lady. She explains what Democrats are acting like, and it makes perfect sense, her explanation.
Like cheating boyfriends right now. I'm sorry, but somebody's got to say it. I'm independent. I think there's good ideas on both sides. There's bad ideas on both sides. But what this Doge audit is reminding me of is like a girl taking her boyfriend's phone and like hiding in the bathroom. And the Democrats are just banging on the door. And they're like, you are invading my privacy. You can't go through my phone. And Elon Musk is like, yes, I can. I can see what you've been up to. And then every time Musk comes out of the bathroom, he's like, look, see what you did? They just turn it around and they're like, you invaded my privacy. This was your fault. You broke my trust. Democrats are.
Yep, they're the cheating boyfriend.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody fights as hard when you're not hiding nothing.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, right? I mean, yeah, it's just hilarious to watch at this point. But grab your popcorn and enjoy the show because it's just getting started. I mean, it really is. So yeah, be transparent.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Fine. Trump was transparent. Guess what? They found out he paid all of his taxes, and now he's like, all right, I want to see yours. And they're like, no. That's fascism. You can't see what we're doing with our money or the taxpayers' money. So yeah, that's pretty much the way it's going right now. So hope you're happy, Democrats. Your leadership is really in shambles right now. But yeah, this next story I will say up front is a little bit more on the adult side. So if you don't want the kids to hear it, by all means, put them to bed. It is kind of late as it is. They should already be in bed, probably. I don't know. But anyway, this week, Democrat lawmakers from Brandon's home state of Ohio introduced the Conception Begins at Erection Act. It was a satirical bill, and I strict the word satire, that would fine men up to $10,000 for ejaculating without the intent to conceive a baby. The goal of this bill, it was to expose the double standard in reproductive laws. Ohio State Representatives Anita Samani and Tristan Rader say if lawmakers can regulate women's bodies, men should not be exempt from that same regulation. Samani stated, let's start policing men the exact same way. So obviously the fines start at $1,000 and rise for repeat offenders. Now, this bill is not expected to pass, obviously, in a Republican-controlled Congress, but it's fueling debate on the issue as Republican Representative Austin Beagle pushes a competing bill to grant embryos legal rights for embryos, which could overturn Ohio's 2023 vote protecting abortion access. So, yeah. I mean, this sounds ridiculous if you ask me, by the way. First of all, I don't know about you, but if this were somehow to pass, which it won't, Lovely picture, by the way. Every teenage boy would immediately be in debt the second they went into puberty, if you ask me. Would they not? Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm.
But I get the point. If they're trying to make, but in my opinion, it's a bit different in the fact that when males ejaculate, a baby hasn't been conceived yet. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So good luck with this. I know it's a satirical bill. It's not going nowhere.
That's wild.
But again,
this picture's crazy.
I know. But anyway, that's why I gave a little disclaimer. But at the same time, it's like
picture's crazy.
What's going to end up happening is these Democrats from Ohio are going to keep fucking around. And if Ohio Republican Austin Beagle has his way, Ohio will grant full legal rights to embryos, and the Dems are really going to be angry about that. That's what's going to end up happening. So, yeah, keep trying. But, yeah, nice try. Around 18 or 19 state attorney generals are now going after Anthony Fauci. Remember, he got that pardon from Joe Biden. But apparently being led by South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson, who is leading a coalition of state attorneys general in an investigation into Fauci's role in the COVID-19 pandemic response, demanding accountability for alleged mismanagement, misleading statements, and suppression of scientific debate. So yeah, this obviously is important because Anthony Fauci is now being looked into by a bunch of states, including Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Idaho, our home state of Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, and West Virginia. So they're all coming after Anthony Fauci. So even though he got that pardon from Joe Biden, Fauci may not get away with this scot-free because the attorneys general have requested that Congress provide them with any relevant findings. And if those findings indicate violations of state laws, they are fully prepared to take action to ensure justice is served. So yes, Anthony Fauci has not gotten away scot-free just yet. So
Good.
Exactly. Good all the way around. And to kind of put a finer point on that, Donald Trump this week also signed an executive order halting all federal funding to schools who still require a COVID vaccination to attend. I mean, if you ask me specifically at this point, it's ridiculous to still require it for students to attend school. So, yeah. So that's great to see. So again, at this point, it should not still be required just to enter school. So thoughts on that?
No, other than that's a good idea.
Yeah. So it's common sense. That's what it is.
Yeah. Some might consider me like an anti-vaxxer. I'm not, but there are two shots that I'm just completely against. And that is the COVID shot and the flu shot. Mainly because I don't see the point in getting the flu shot one. I don't see the point in getting the flu shot one when by the time I even get the chance to get it, I've already gotten it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, and then of course we know the COVID one being so shady. I don't want that in my body.
Yeah. Especially with all these issues that are now coming out more and more, which everybody said, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. No, that's not anymore. I mean, many victims of vaccine injuries and stuff like that have occurred. We're going to talk a little bit more about that once we get into RFK here in just a second. We got one more tab to go. So buckle in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the home stretch here. This week, Donald Trump also announced reciprocal tariffs. The U.S. Will now mirror the tariff and tax rates that other countries charge on American goods and apply them on the imports into America. This is what you call an equal playing field. So if you tariff us, we're going to tariff you the exact same amount. Why would this be controversial to anybody?
I don't know.
I mean, this is just common sense, guys. No doubt about it. But Trump and Elon are not the only ones kicking ass. Tulsi Gabbard has now officially been confirmed as Director of National Intelligence, and she's not the only one who got confirmed this week on Trump's cabinet, as Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has also been confirmed officially as Secretary of the Health and Human Services. So good on these two as well, and they're going to be getting to work right away. But apparently, Mitch McConnell was the only Republican to vote against both of these confirmations. As we've mentioned before, Turkey Neck Mitch is a rhino.
What is with his eye?
He's not well.
Like, do you not see it? Like, it is.
Yeah, it doesn't
wow.
look good. Yeah. But he's a rhino, and in all likelihood, not in charge of his own faculties at this point, and is only a detriment to his own constituents, who for some reason voted for him in Kentucky. Maybe a little shady there too, because it kind of feels like a California situation where he's been in there far too long. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He needs to go for many reasons. This is just one more. And of course, Democrats like Chuck Schumer weren't happy as always. And it must just be a miserable existence to be a Democrat at this point.
It's got to be.
Because they just can't be happy about anything. Chuck Schumer in this video even suggests that Tulsi Gabbard would not have gotten confirmed in a secret vote, which we shouldn't be having to begin with. So let's listen to this.
Objectively, I think most senators would agree there are better choices to lead national intelligence. You know what my guess is? If we had a secret ballot, Gabbard might get 10 votes and 40 against her from the other side. People know. That's why they raise so many questions. But Donald Trump and Elon Musk evidently threatened them, and they're changing their view.
Threatened them. Okay.
Objectively.
Or maybe they just actually thought that maybe they were good candidates. You ever thought about that? But no, Trump has to have threatened them in order for them to vote for her, which is ridiculous, by the way. But it's poetic. Yeah.
They make this man out to be a fucking supervillain.
Yeah. Every single time. Like, God forbid, maybe he just convinced them, which is what happens in these sort of situations. No, he must have paid them off, or he must have, threatened them, otherwise they wouldn't vote for them, because no one could ever do that.
But it's not like a modern day supervillain. It's like the supervillain from like the old Batman cartoons, where it's just like, or Batman TV series, where it's like a comical supervillain. Because the way they describe shit, maybe it's the way they say things or use certain words to make it seem more bombastic or ostentatious, but like they use words that they associate with like crazy things, but it's words that nobody fucking uses. It's like when a wrestler cuts a promo and speaks the way that no one fucking talks.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but you're doing
I have a giant bag of beans.
My man, what did he say? Dastardly deeds.
Dastardly deeds, Al Green said last week. Yeah. And I agree with Slaughter the Assassin. A secret ballot has to infringe on the rights of the people. You're absolutely right.
Exactly.
There should be no such thing in Congress.
And the fact that you said it is wild.
Yeah. Dastardly deeds.
No, secret ballot.
Oh, secret ballot. Yeah. The fact that they do those sort of things, which is ridiculous, certain things. But yeah. But this week, after RFK was confirmed, he was already getting to work and said he'll be implementing a vaccine injury report system. So that's great to see, because obviously there's enough vaccine injuries going around. We have to be able to report this thing and get it documented, and that way we get it taken care of. So yeah, so that's awesome to see. I thought that was great to hear. I'll kind of spare the video at the moment just because we're running a little late here. But yeah, now all we need really is for Kash Patel to get confirmed as the director of the FBI, and a few others of Trump's cabinet nominees, and they'll all be appointed. And Trump will have all of his appointees confirmed. So that this Kash Patel being confirmed should happen any day now. So look for that possibly next week here on the channel, no doubt about it. We also had. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Do these appointments generally take this long, or is this like a new?
They're dragging it out.
Yeah, but they're dragging it. They're making it a spectacle.
Yeah, they're trying to.
They want to throw
people
as
they're
much,
not qualified.
like they know that they are going to get those positions, but like they're trying to make it throw as much dirt on them and make them seem, as bad as they can before it happens.
Yeah. So when they are doing things that they don't agree with, we can say, "See, we told you they were not qualified."
Yeah,
that's basically all it's
that
for. Yeah, I mean it's pretty pathetic, really, if you ask me.
Yeah.
There
was kind of a prediction that Trump made. He talked about, we wouldn't have to worry about voting. Maybe what he was talking about is, one, we're going to see how bad the Democratic Party is. And even those like Republicans who say they're Republicans, but they vote more Democrat than anything, we're going to see how bad they really are. And then they will never vote for those people ever again. And they will start losing their jobs.
Maybe
that's possible. I hope so.
That's the plan, ain't it? Like that's the hope.
And we would hope we would change enough hearts and minds the way they never vote that way again, because that way is obviously nuts.
We're already seeing it just with their attempts to try to stop Doge from doing what it was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an illegitimate agency. No, I just explained to you earlier how it's completely legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
I explained it last week.
But they knew that too. They already knew that. These are just
they know all this. Yeah. It's just them spouting into the ether and hoping somebody believes it.
Yeah.
At this point, I mean, you can look up the documentation. I mean, you can find it. But these people, they trust their brainwashed masses not to take that time to actually do that. So sorry, not all of us are that brainwashed and that moronic. But anyway, This week, also we saw anti-ICE protesting as it broke out in North Carolina this week, but it actually backfired on the protesters as they were protesting. I was trying to do that without the audio, but anyway, it inadvertently put a target on the back. The protesters did, as ICE showed up and started arresting the illegal immigrants in the crowd. So they were protesting with illegal immigrants, and ICE came by and started arresting them. So you can't make this up. Why not just wear a giant neon sign that says "Come arrest me"? I mean, seriously?
Like, if you're doing something illegal, the last place you want to be is where the police are.
Yeah, and here's some of the arrests. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, maybe not go to an anti-ICE protest if you're an illegal immigrant. You know, especially right now. Maybe you could have gotten away with that before, but now they're looking for you. So it's not smart. This came just hours after Tom Homan met with New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who agreed to allow ICE to use Rikers Island to house illegals. So we're using Guantanamo Bay and now Rikers Island, apparently. So, yeah. So not real bright on the illegal aliens part here, in my opinion. But as Matt mentioned a little bit ago here on the channel, on the chat, remember earlier how I said I want to see arrests? Well, we may be getting just that in some instances, like Tony Fauci. Here's another one. Tom Homan says that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC herself, could be looking at jail time for facilitating illegal aliens in violation of federal law.
Tom, you got AOC out there, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman, putting out a webinar, doing a webinar to help illegals avoid, I guess, apprehension, giving tips about how to continue to remain in the country and ultimately game the system.
And I sent an email today to the Deputy Attorney General. At what level is that impediment? Is that impediment? I'm not an attorney. I'm not a prosecutor. Is that impediment? Is that impeding our law enforcement efforts? If so, what are we going to do about it? Is she crossing the line? So I'm working with the Department of Justice and finding out where is that line that they cross. So maybe AOC is going to be in trouble now, but I need the AOG to opine on that. But because there's impediment is impediment, in my opinion. I'm not a prosecutor, but we need some further guidance on that. But again, if we have to take every federal dollar out of the city, we'll do it. I mean, we're done. This is about public safety. This is about community safety. Knowingly releasing a public safety back in the public is just stupid. You're putting the public at great risk. You're putting our officers at great risk. You're even putting the illegal alien at great risk because anything can happen on arrest on the street. So we just want to make common sense. In sanctuary cities, they want to step aside. We're coming. We're going to do it for you. If you don't want to make your community safer, President Trump's going to.
Gosh, I love him too. The adults are back in charge. They're not taking BS no more, including from AOC, who could actually face charges and prosecution for this.
That's wild.
Yeah, so politicians ain't safe either. I mean, just because she's doing something she thinks is right, if it's against the law, you're going to go to jail.
Wait a minute. If you don't own the home and you're just squatting, do they still reserve the right that ICE can't enter their home?
I don't know. Well, not only that, she's talking about how, tell the agents to show you the warrant by slide. If you're not an American citizen, I don't know how much of this actually applies to them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So her advice may not even work. So again, she's not the brightest, bulb. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, if anybody who pushes misinformation, it's AOC, and she deserves to go to jail for that, especially if she's harboring illegal aliens. So we'll see how that goes. But next up, we had new Attorney General Pam Bondi. She announced the Department of Justice has filed charges, speaking of people going to jail, against the state of New York. Governor Kathy Hochul, AG Letitia James, who tried to get Donald Trump thrown in jail, who even ran on it, and DMV Commissioner Mark Schroeder for failing to enforce immigration law in New York City. That has led to the deaths of many Americans across the nation. So that's good. If again, you're not enforcing federal immigration law, you're breaking the law. Simple as that. As a government official, you're harboring these people. So ironically, missing from this lawsuit, though, is Mayor Eric Adams, as I mentioned a second ago, which tells me he likely flipped and is helping the Trump administration and got off free in exchange. As I mentioned a couple stories ago, Mayor Adams has actually been cooperative as of late, so he might have struck a deal and is kind of maybe throwing these people under the bus a little bit, save his own skin a little bit. I don't know, but yeah. And last but not least, we got some good news here a little bit here. Picks. Let's see here. This is something that actually Joe Biden has been working on in his administration for about 3.5 years. It took Donald Trump 3 weeks to get this American back on American soil from Russia. Mark Fogel was wrongly detained in Russia for possession of legal medical marijuana in 2021. Once he got home, he got a beer, he got a flag draper over his shoulder with the Steeler cap on his head, and he got to stay a night in the Lincoln bedroom of the White House. So good to have him home. But yeah, this should not have taken nearly this long. But Joe Biden was too busy trying to break out Brittany Griner. The transgender basketball star who openly stated that he or she doesn't even like America. Biden exchanged this basketball player for a terrorist arms dealer known as the Merchant of Death to get the DEI basketball player back. And then, by the way, this Merchant of Death is already now selling arms to the Houthis again. He's already back out there selling all of his stuff. So great job, Joe. It just illustrates the huge difference between weak and strong leadership, if you ask me. So, yeah. Yeah, this is what we had to deal with for the last 4 years, ladies and gentlemen. And last but not least here, speaking of hostages, Donald Trump was not thrilled with the footage of malnourished Hamas hostages returning home. So much so, he said all the remaining hostages better be released or he's going to allow, quote, all hell to break loose in the region. Not the United States getting involved, but he implied that he'd let Israel off the leash. Since this statement, I guess Hamas initially had opted out, and they called Trump's bluff and officially entered the find out stage. But I guess their goat-powered Wi-Fi kicked in, and they Googled FAFO, and from what I could tell, they decided they didn't want to be a crater. So they may have backed out, and now they may be agreeing to release Israeli hostages once more. But I could not verify that. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, if they finally decided to release some hostages, good for them. Because if you want to F around and find out, get your popcorn ready. Because Trump said by noon on Saturday, which is tomorrow, he may just take Israel off the leash and let him finish the job. So if that's the case, we pray for the hostages. But Trump's not messing around, ladies and gentlemen. You want to test him, you're going to find out. So thoughts on all that? Anything?
I mean, that right there says it right there.
Yeah, just keep it up, ladies and gentlemen. But it is good to see some of these hostages coming home. But I'm not going to lie. I'm with Donald Trump. You look at those hostages who came home, looks like they haven't had a meal in months or whatnot, or weeks. I don't know. But it's just sad to see. And this should not be happening. And this needs to end. And all the hostages need to be let go. And hopefully Hamas will listen to reason. But if not, they're going to find out, whether it be from Trump himself or Israel or whoever it may be. So, yeah. So that's all I got tonight. So what do you guys think of all this? Crazy times.
Yep. Another crazy news week. Another crazy week.
In general, yeah. A lot of fun. A lot of sad stuff in the world. We try to make it fun here. I mean, I try to interject some jokes and some interesting memes and humor as much as physically possible, but it's not always easy to do here on the channel, no doubt about it. But I hope you guys still enjoy it. We've got at least 58 people who've watched this for the majority of the show, so I'm thankful for that you guys who've been here all the way through this. Thank you so much for watching. You guys got anything else you want to add tonight before we end the show?
No, I don't.
No? No happy Valentine's Day, no nothing. Well,
it is.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day.
Love somebody.
If there's ever a day, at least in this year, that we can come together, this is a day. At least one of them.
I would hope so. I like Christmas more, but I see your sentiment. I got you.
Yeah, as a kid. That's what happens on Valentine's Day.
Trying to say, I love you.
9 months later, you celebrate Valentine's Day. 9 months later, you heard in that background is what you're going to hear.
Yeah, don't celebrate it too much, ladies and gentlemen. So keep that in mind for sure. But yeah, if you do, by all means, wear protection for sure. If you don't want a little one running around,
hey, stay strapped, son.
Stay strapped, exactly. Stay in more ways than one, no doubt about it. Well, guys, I think we're going to head out of here tonight. Thank you so much for watching, as always. And I know these shows run a little long, especially with the politics stuff. There's a lot to go over in this world right now. So much is happening, and I know I did not get through everything as well. But thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Don't forget to follow us over there on Rumble as well. We'll try to get some more clips from this show coming out every week as well. Been kind of slacking off a little bit, taking a little bit of a break here too. But regardless of what may be on the channel, we'll definitely be here next Friday night. I think we'll do this again. Hopefully, maybe these are late shows. I understand. I can tell by the end of the show sometimes everybody gets a little tired. I try to keep the energy up, but I usually crash hard after this. I'm not going to lie to you. So, but
sure.
it's always
Especially after
a
a
lot.
week like we've had, though.
And we've had mandatory overtime all week. So if we seem a little tired by the end of it, it's because it's been a long week. But I still enjoy doing it. I know everybody else does too. So we're going to keep doing it, hopefully, and have some good fun. But like I said, like and subscribe, comment below, let us know all that good jazz. You guys know how things go. And until next week, guys, take care.
Good night.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.